That's Mamba, boy.
Yo, we back. We back. Salute to everyone, man. First people coming in the building early. I appreciate you. It's Divine Sense Boxing, as you know, in the building. Salute to everybody. We got SM. We got Stormy B, man. The OG, the Sensei in the building. Stephen L. the Mac, man. I saw you over there in the chat section of BFTB earlier today, man. Good to see you. Pink Meadows, good to see you. Pretty straightforward live stream tonight. You guys see the title of the live stream, man. A lot of other channels have already kind of spoken about it. I was just over on Just Do's channel. If y'all don't know Just Do, make sure y'all go over there and slide by his channel. Check him out. So yeah, I was kind of waiting for my moment to kind of speak on this, and I think that I should, simply because I've been around YouTube for a long time, and when Floyd Mayweather was active, you know, in 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, most people who know me from back in those days know me as a Floyd Mayweather fan, a Floyd Mayweather supporter. That's how I kind of built my channel, more or less, to be quite honest with you, because I came in here, talking about Floyd Mayweather on a stylistic point of view, how I appreciated his skills, how I appreciated his abilities. And when I first came on YouTube talking about Floyd Mayweather, I had no affiliation with any other thing, lack of better words, than the skills that he possesses. So I wanted to give my thoughts about Floyd and the way that I see him operating post, being a fighter, post being one of the best fighters, in my opinion, in our generation. Hate it or love it, that's my opinion, and I'm more than happy to have anybody come in here and dispute that. And I'm talking about my generation, I guess you can say, but I mean, I would even, me personally, put his name along the names of Hearns, Hagler, and Duran, all those guys. That's me personally, but that's him as a fighter. All right, that's me as a fighter. So yeah, I thought that it would be fair, and I think that it would make sense for me, as I said, as an ardent Mayweather fan / supporter when he was active. A lot of people knew me from those days, that I have to come out here and speak about him as a promoter, right? And the things that he's been doing and saying and how he's been acting and things like that, because like I always tell people, I always keep it 100 no matter what, right? Even if I have a favorite fighter or somebody that I'm supporting, whatever it may be, I'm going to keep it 100 no matter what. So that's what I'm going to do. Yo, what's good? Mangus Allen in the building, what's good? Doom Sayer, what's good, man? So I'm a Boots fan, but his best call is to just zip the mouth and talk with the jab. Okay, bro, I hear you. I hear you. Make sure when you guys come in, man, hit that like button. Get the likes all the way up. And we'll get this party started, man. Look, hopefully this isn't a long live stream. I always say that, but it doesn't always turn out that way, depending on people start filtering in, starts getting heated sometimes. I don't know who's out there in the woodwork that may take this live stream personally when it comes to Floyd Mayweather. But I'm also going to talk a little bit about Tank Davis as well, and that whole operation. So, like I said, man, I feel like Floyd is one of the best to ever do it. I've never denied that. I've always promoted that idea. I've always promoted that belief. I feel like skills pay the bills. I feel like that's something that you can't deny. There's fighters out there that they may not have the best personality. They may say and do things that irk us, that make us feel like, man, what the fuck? Even Tyson Fury sometimes, I have never came out here and said the man doesn't have skill, and he irritates the living shit out of me, right? We all know this. I speak about it constantly. I was just live about it the other day about it, right? But the man's not absent skill. It's something that you can't deny. Either you have it or you don't, right? A lot of people didn't like Michael Jordan. A lot of people thought that he was arrogant, self-centered. A lot of people thought that about Kobe. I mean, so many other great players, right? But you couldn't deny their skill. And I feel like Floyd fits that bill. Floyd Mayweather was born to box. I mean, it is what it is. From the cradle, to the crib, to the floor. The man was born and designed to do what he ended up doing, like, being 50-0. If you want to count the Conor McGregor fight, I know that there's a thorn in some people's side, but I mean, even if it's 49-0, it's quite a remarkable feat, right? Not taking much damage in the sport, being one of the most accurate punchers that we've ever seen. All those different little things, right? Statistically, the eye test, everything. So that's that, right? That is that. Now, since stepping out of the fight game, I'm not going to even recognize. I'm not going to even recognize all these other, like, what do you want to call it? Charity fights or celebrity fights, like the Logan Paul bullshit, the dude in Japan bullshit, all that other shit. I'm not even going to talk about it because I just find it just ridiculous. It's a money grab. There's a high possibility that all those fights were rigged. Not saying that Floyd couldn't win those fights if it was a real fight, but it's not a sanctioned fight. It's not a real fight. There's a high possibility, due to the way boxing has been for generations after generations. There's a high possibility that shit's rigged. So I'm not going to even waste a breath talking about any of that shit. So since basically, I guess technically speaking, you can say Conor McGregor. Technically speaking, on paper, Conor McGregor. He's been a promoter, right? Mayweather promoter. I mean, he was a promoter before that, but that he's officially out of the fight game since Conor McGregor. He's pretty much dedicated himself to being a businessman / promoter, Mayweather Promotions, working with Leonard Ellerbe, and his biggest star, obviously, is Tank Davis, right? We all know this. What's up, Drake Lemonade? E Unstoppable in the building was good. DP Rock in the building, man. Brown Unboxing was good. Finally got my man DP in here. My man bouncing around, but he can't make his way over to Divine Sense. What's up, bro? What's good with it?
That's Boy.
Yeah. So since Conor McGregor, Mayweather's become a businessman. He's become a promoter, etc., etc., etc. And at first, right, when he first announced that, he was going to be a promoter, and he was promoting the idea that he's here for the fighters. I used to be a fighter, and I know what fighters need. I'm here to help build their career. I'm here to make sure they make money, etc., etc., etc. Now, naturally, the beginning, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. A guy like Floyd Mayweather, who was one of the best talents in the sport in the late to early 2000s, left Top Rank, made his own company, promoted himself, and made a shitload of money. And on top of that, fought some massive fights. I mean, Floyd Mayweather himself, did he fight everybody that was available to him? No. Did he fight everybody in their prime? No. But Floyd himself wasn't always in his prime either. Right? So if I would have to give Floyd, like, the skill test, the eye test, the man's 5 stars, in my opinion. He's an A fighter, A+ fighter. That's just my belief. And like I said, anybody can come in here and challenge me on that. His resume, though, however, I give it like a B. Give it like a B. B-. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's all right, right? The beginning stages of his career, when he's fighting like, let's say, like Diego Corrales and Castillo and all those guys at 130, 135, 140, even the Ricky Hatton. I give him full credit for the Ricky Hatton victory, even though a lot of people don't. Those are all stellar victories, right? And then as he became Money Mayweather, he's only fighting once or twice a year, come out of retirement. There's a lot of catch weights and shit like that, right? No different than what Manny Pacquiao was doing, who was also one of the best fighters in the same generation, bouncing around different weight classes. So it is what it is. It's a new era of boxing. But nonetheless, I give it a B-. Now, with that being said, as a promoter and him with Tank Davis, what do I give Tank Davis' resume? What grade do I give Tank Davis? Because once again, the eye test, the skill test, Tank Davis, to me, in my opinion, is an A fighter. He's an A-class fighter from the eye test. And a lot of people may say, well, you ain't fought nobody, so how do you give him that test? I guess that's fair. Maybe it's intuition. Maybe it's experience. Maybe it's I know skill when I see it. At the end of the day, it's an opinion. If you don't like it, then it's an A-B conversation. You can see your way out. But right now, Tank Davis's resume, in my opinion, is like a C minus. And I think that's being gracious. To be honest with you, that's just the way that I see it. So, Floyd Mayweather, Tank Davis, both smaller guys, right? Similar career paths in the sense of skills and ability, can conquer boxing. The irony is, Floyd, right? When he was with Top Rank, he got some of his biggest fights. That's the crazy part. Now, I'm all for him leaving Top Rank because I think Bob Arum's a piece of shit. I've always thought that, and I will always think that until the man finally decides to die, even though he's 115 years old. But if you really look at it, before he fought Oscar De La Hoya, it wasn't like he didn't fight high-caliber fighters. It was just that he was being underpaid. He wasn't being taken care of properly. And so that's why he left Bob Arum, right? Now, I don't know necessarily. I don't know the books. I don't know money-wise if Tank Davis is being underpaid. I don't think that's necessarily the issue. I think he's getting paid. People are buying Tank Davis fights, and Tank Davis is getting paid. But it's getting to the point where why are we paying for these fights when they're lackluster fights? And will the fans continue to pay money, their hard-earned money, to pay for these lackluster fights? They're paying for it because it's Tank Davis, it's Mayweather Promotions. They are riding on the coattail in regards to Floyd Mayweather's idea on how to build Tank Davis. And they put their trust into Mayweather because Mayweather is the biggest name, or he was, and still currently very relevant in the sport, biggest name in boxing. So casuals and even some diehards put their faith in Floyd Mayweather and his journey to make Tank Davis similar to what Floyd was in regards to name, credibility, make money, big fights, etc., etc. But along the way, it hasn't come to pass, right? Now we're sitting here, and you see the landscape of 135, right? You see the landscape of 135. And there's a shitload of talent. A shitload of talent. Right? We know this, right? We got Shakur, 130, 135, whatever. We're going to say 130, 135 for the sake of argument. You got Shakur Stevenson. You got Devin Haney. You got Kambosos. And I throw Kambosos at the end of the day, he's the next champion. You got Teofimo Lopez. Right? You got a lot of talent. You got a lot of threats out there. Ryan Garcia. He hasn't fought any of those names that I just mentioned. Now, the irony is, and I know that BFTB talks about it. I know a lot of other channels talk about it out here. It's not that I think that Tank is afraid to fight anybody, but it boils down to Floyd Mayweather, man. That's what it is. He's the fucking promoter. He's the one who makes the calls. He's the one who makes the moves. He's the one that makes these fights happen. Right? That is the promoter's job. The number one job is to build up their fighter and get their fighter the biggest fights that pay the most. See, Floyd Mayweather has been able to, thus far, with Tank Davis, to manipulate the system. He's been able to build up Tank. I will give Floyd that credit. He has been able to build up Tank, but it's not difficult. It's not difficult for two reasons. Number one, because it's Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather can recruit DP Rocker. He said, "Hey, yo, DP, come over to Floyd Mayweather Promotions, man. I'll sign you up to our 10-fight deal. You know what I'm saying? 10-fight deal. And we'll promote the shit out of you. And we'll make a lot of money." Guess what? People buy DP Rocker's fights because it's Floyd Mayweather, man. It's no different than Oscar De La Hoya back in the mid 2000s, right? When he was at Golden Boy promoting fights. He doesn't have as much, I guess, reach that he used to have, Oscar De La Hoya, because he fucked himself all up and doing some dumb shit. I mean, he's just deteriorated as far as the promotional side of things, in my opinion. Now, Floyd, though, he still has that luster. He can literally promote anybody right now, and people will buy the fights. So that's number one. Number two, it's Tank Davis. The dude's knocking dudes out all over the fucking place. He looks like a small guy to some people. He's 5'5", 5'6", whatever he is. And he's just cranking dudes, right? Dudes are just going to sleep, right? Step back, check left hooks and shit. People falling into the ropes, getting knocked out, getting late. I mean, it's not that hard to promote somebody like Tank Davis when he has that type of talent. So you have Floyd Mayweather and you have Tank Davis. You have two ingredients to make a lot of money. So Mayweather has manipulated the system to make money, to build up and promote his fighter, which he has done. Not that it was that difficult, but he's done it. I give him that credit. But somehow still able to avoid the big fights. Now, if Tank was promoted by anybody else other than Floyd Mayweather, the irony is, in my opinion, is that he would have already had a big fight. He would have already had a big fight. Because another promotional company, whether it's PBC, Top Rank, whoever the fuck it is, DAZN, they would have to put him in a big fight by now. Because without Floyd Mayweather's name attached to Tank, they would be forced to try to make a big fight to keep that interest there. They're not going to be able to build and promote Tank like Mayweather can, simply because it's fucking Floyd Mayweather. What's up, Devin? So, Mayweather has figured out a way to manipulate the system. Where normally you have a guy who's, at least 20-0, 22-0, 23-0, 24-0 with a fucking 90%, 95% KO ratio. It's pretty much standard that you're in a mega fight. You're fighting for belts. And I'm talking about like real shit. I ain't talking about no interim shit. I ain't talking about, this guy won a vacay belt and he won. Nah, fuck all that. Like a solidified championship bout, like a Shakur, like a Devin Haney, like something of that caliber. I think another promotional company would have already done it. They wouldn't have had a choice.
Yeah.
What's up, K-Rod?
I just wanted to chime in real quick. Like as far as all the Floyd Mayweather stuff, I don't think Floyd Mayweather, he's not really helping Gervonta Davis at all. If you really think about it, he's basically using the same tactics that Bob Arum did to him on Gervonta, but he just flipped it to like a manner of which let me give you the most money possible, but you can take the least amount of risk without having to lose. So I think that's part of Mayweather's business model. Otherwise, if he was all for the big fights, we probably would have seen back-to-back champions that Gervonta would have been fought by now, and Gervonta's career would be super stacked. And I think Mayweather is not so keen of having to do that because he knows Gervonta can can easily surpass him. And I think as far as legacy wise, Gervonta, he has such a great ceiling to like take over multiple divisions and clean them out. But it's like I want to say he's just being fed up the wrong information by Floyd Mayweather and Leonard to have them promise him all these big fights. To which I think Gervonta, he should just be his own boss, because it's like, if you have your own promotional company, but you're working with Mayweather Promotions, why would you want them to speak for you? You can speak for yourself, just like what Devin Haney did with DAZN and Matchroom. Because like, I wouldn't want nobody telling me how to do my job properly. I wouldn't want to know how to do my job, but I have full control of my full responsibilities when I get into work. So I think for Gervonta's point of view, he needs to grow up and he needs to man up. I don't like seeing all these crappy ass fights. I want to see Gervonta, in a big fight where he gets hurt or he gets into like a very dangerous style matchup. I think that's something that Gervonta knows that he can do, but it's just like he's like not following with like the action behind it. He's acting like as if, oh well, I could beat up Devin Haney, I could beat up Shakur, I could beat up all these guys, but yet you're not willing to make those fights. But you're going to stand behind Floyd Mayweather and Leonard to pretend as if they're the reason why the fights aren't being made, because they're on different promotional sides of the street, which is not true. Because you can easily tell Al Heyman through the phone, hey Al, make this fight, or else I'll just basically split off from Floyd Mayweather, and I could easily go independent. And him and Al Heyman, they could do all they could work out all the business. Like at the end of the day, Gervonta has all the power in the world to be his own man, but it just seems like he doesn't want to do it because he's too afraid of what the backlash will be received, as he tries to move funny or tries to make any excuse of not getting like a big fight made. So that's pretty much what I have to say.
It definitely goes both ways, man. It takes two to tango. Like Floyd. If Floyd can manipulate the situation, he'll continue to do so. And I'm sure that the narrative that Floyd is whispering into Tank's ear is, you're still young. Take your time. Fight these little fights. Continue to knock these dudes out. And your time will come and you can get someone big, maybe when you're like 30. Because if you look at it, Floyd essentially didn't really take the massive money fights until he was past his 30s. Right? So Shakur, that it's hard to step away when you're getting paid like that. Like Tank's getting paid. Even though he's not fighting the biggest fights, he's getting paid. Right? So it's not a situation where I think he's scared. It's just like he's comfortable. He's like, I can fight these like, top 10, top 8, top 7 dudes, whatever, these like Rodriguez's and these Gonzalez's and these whoever the fuck, and keep winning and keep knocking these guys out, or these Rolly Romeros. I mean, that's like a perfect fight. That was a perfect fight for Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions to make, because nobody in their right mind who knows boxing gave Romero a true chance, like, on a boxing level. It's like, come on, bro. But it worked perfectly for Floyd, because Romero out there talking shit every single day, right? Like crazy shit. Romero was talking some like off the wall crazy shit. It wasn't like I'm gonna beat his ass. He was like saying some go back and look at the promotion of that fight and the interviews that Rolly did. I'm telling you, it's funny and it's also cringe at the same time. But it worked. Floyd wasn't worried about Rolly. He wasn't worried about him at all. He's like, it'll be over in like 4, 5. you know, he'll catch him. Rolly's too young. He's too full of piss and vinegar. It's too much of like, I'm going to try to knock his fucking head off and he's going to get caught. And that's exactly what happened. Right? So it worked out. It continues to work out well for Floyd. And then Floyd puts the bag on the table and said, yo, look all this money you made, bro. Look how much money I just gave you, man. You beat this dude Rolly. And everyone was hyping up the fight. Gave Rolly a chance, but see, that's what Floyd is doing, man. He is a masterful fucking manipulator, bro. Him and Leonard Ellerbe, bro, they've been doing this shit for decades now. They know. I'm gonna build this dude up. Remember when they tried to build up Robert Guerrero? When Floyd fought Robert Guerrero, they're trying to build his ass up. They brought his dad up on the fucking mic, on the podium, talking shit to Roger and Floyd's dad, and they're going back and forth and shit like that. That shit was all orchestrated, man. I'm telling you. They're like, yeah, let Robert's dad come up here and talk that cholo shit. And people bought the fight, bro. People are like, oh shit, like Robert's out there hitting the heavy bag, looking all angry and shit. They did the same thing with Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz coming in the fight looking like a fucking cruiserweight. Victor Ortiz came in looking big as fuck. And they hyped it up. Oh, he's big, he's strong, he can punch. Look at that fight he had against Andre Berto. But nobody talked about how this motherfucker, man, Victor Ortiz ain't got no heart. And real boxing fans know that. As soon as this motherfucker starts going, he starts, you know, his game plan don't work, or he starts getting hit with flush shots, he folds like a slice of bread. We've seen it multiple times. When the fight's going his way, yeah, he's like this hard-nosed, like Mexican fighter, punch hard and shit like that. Right? We saw when Josito Lopez broke his jaw. Come on, man. Floyd's been doing this shit. He told Tank, like, look, man, just follow my lead. I got you. Like, you're gonna continue to get this bag. That's what it's all about, Tank. It's all about making this money. Fuck what these people say. Why go in there and risk your O when you can just continue to make this money? Because Floyd has continuously promoted that idea his whole fucking career. What's up, Mike? What's up, TS? What's up, Omega? Isaiah in the building. What's good? Ronald, I see you, bro. Yeah. So it is what it is. Now, I agree with K-Rod. Like, you got to be a man at some point if you're Tank. If you're Tank Davis, at some point and some point soon, because you know what's going to happen? Eventually, boxing fans will start to abandon you. Right? Because right now, the momentum is swinging towards Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. That's where the momentum is swinging in that division. All the way up. At some point, both of these dudes will probably end up at 140 at some point. Because they're that talented and they have the frame for it, especially Devin Haney. So, eventually, boxing fans will love you today and they'll fucking hate you tomorrow because that's how it is. So, Tank, I don't know if he knows this. There's only so much that Floyd can do. He only has so much power. His reach is only so big. Every king or emperor throughout fucking history, ancient history, thought that their reach was limitless. And they found out quick that their reach can only extend so far. Ask the Julius Caesars. Ask the Roman Empire. They'll tell you. Ask the Persians. They'll tell you. Right? Floyd's head's so goddamn big. But they're about to get found out. So hopefully Tank can find, like, quite frankly, find his balls. Like, that's what it is. Because you got to stand up to Floyd. And to me, what's irritating is like, we remember, right, 2 or 3 months ago, there was like a dispute between them. And Tank came out like, man, I ain't trying to fuck with Floyd right now. And he had his little his little squabble with Mayweather Promotions, and then what happened? They come back together. Kumbaya. Oh, we made up. Like, that shit's just I don't know, man. It looks soggy. It's like soggy bread and shit. I don't want to be around that shit, man. So, yeah. Continue what you're doing. You'll continue to fight the Rolly Romeros of the world. You'll make a few more bags. Devin Haney and Shakur will continue to conquer divisions and be undisputed and take belts and take all of the fame on their own. Like the real fame, the real credibility, legacy shit. Tank Davis and the route that he's taking right now is like, yo, a guy full of talent that retired at the age of 33, that was never unified, never undisputed, and never fought any of the top champions in his weight class because he was too busy trying to, quote unquote, make a bag. That's the route he's taking. And you can only blame Floyd so much. Floyd is who he is. He ain't gonna fucking change for nobody. You can look Floyd Mayweather right in his face. If you're a journalist or whatever it is, and you go in and you interview Floyd and you say, yo, look, bro, how you handling Tank is fucked up. You got to give him these big fights. You know what the game is, bro. You know what it is about legacy. You say money's everything. No, it's not. Even yourself was fixated on making sure you get 50-0 because you cared about legacy. You wanted to break Rocky Marciano's record. You ain't stupid. You were aware of it. You knew what you fucking had to do. You knew that you had to fight Manny Pacquiao. You knew that. At some point, you were going to have to fight him. So don't give me this bullshit. Like, if I was talking to Floyd, this is exactly what I'll tell him, bro. I swear to you. I'm like, Floyd, one of your biggest supporters. On God. I fought in the trenches for you during the fucking Flomo Pactard era. When these motherfuckers were coming over here calling us Flomos and gay and you know, we're monkey lovers and all kinds of crazy shit. I'm in the trenches. Right? But you know what, man? As a promoter, bro, yo, you fucking up out here. And don't give us this bullshit about, oh, only money matters and all this other shit. Man, this is a fight game, bro. You're not betting on basketball. This is a fight game. Everything about the fight game is glory and legacy. Being a fucking legend. That's what it's all about. That's why you put on gloves. When you're 10 years old, 11 years old, walk into a boxing gym, you don't think, oh man, I'm going to do this shit because I'm trying to make a milli. That's not what attracts you to boxing. What attracts you to boxing are those men holding up those belts, the legacy, that idea of like being the best, being a champion. That's what it is. The money comes later. That's a bonus effect of boxing today in comparison to the old time fighters, where they boxed for a living. They had to live, to eat. And unless you were a Sugar Ray Robinson or a Jack Johnson or a Henry Armstrong or these real big names, you weren't making that much money. Or a Jack Dempsey, you weren't making that much money. And even them, in comparison today, shit, they weren't making that much either, to be honest with you. They had a couple nice coats, fur coats, a couple cars, owned a couple hotels and shit. That's about it. What's up, Mike Biggs? Yo, click the link, bro, if you want to jump in, Mike.
Hey, Divine, like I'm gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Like I was just gonna say one more thing, and I gotta get out of here because I'm gonna, chop it up on like another live stream. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, but basically, all I'm gonna say is that you can't buy success when you didn't put in the hard work to be successful. And for me, at least, because I came from like a very strict family, that's just how I was brought up. You know, blood, sweat, and tears. That's what makes up like your hard fruits of labor, and I think that's just like a core benefit of what Gervonta needs because he needs to solidify everything until it's all said and done, and I just find that to be very vital because Floyd Mayweather, he's abusing him. He's putting all this. I don't even know if it's just misinformation, but I just want to say it's just a manipulative. How should I say? It's a manipulative mind control structure that Gervonta has been fed to ever since he got introduced to Floyd by way of Adrian Broner. So I think Gervonta, he's already comfortable to the point where he believes that's where he wants to be, but it's like, you could do better. You know that you don't need Floyd. Like, Floyd was only there for you to just, give you the proper path to be financially more self-sustainable. But it's like, at this point, you're already financially sustainable. You have everything that you need. So now it's just like, you just need to build up on your on your legacy fights. So my final case in point is just that Gervonta, he needs to get away from Floyd Mayweather and he needs to start taking control of his career, because if he doesn't, he's going to be looked down he's going to be looked down upon as a coward and just a duck, because I think that's where his career is going to at the end of the day.
Yep, I agree, man. Thanks for stopping by, K-Rod, as always, bro. Go handle your business, bro.
Yep, appreciate you. Thank you very much.
All right, brother. All right, what's up, Mike? Is this Mike Biggs?
Nah, the Reaper, man. I was just at BFT Beach show not too long ago, bro.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
What's on your mind?
Oh, bro. Just piggybacking off what you said about Floyd, being a shitty promoter. Great fighter, one of the greatest fighters, of our generation. Can't say of boxing.
Yo, I can hardly hear you, bro. Like, get closer to your mic or something, bro.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit better,
Okay, hold on, let me fix my mic. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nah, man, just Gervonta he's a great fighter, man. He has the temperaments to be one of the best of his generations. You know what I mean? Definitely Devin Haney has is already on that path of Hall of Famer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as Floyd's temperament of being a promoter, he has no idea what he's doing, to be honest with you. He think it's just the money bag, the bag, and that's all they care about. But young Floyd, pretty boy Floyd, was all about legacy, fight any and everybody to get to what he needs to get to get that bag. But he lost his perception of what really got him there. It's the grind, the absolute grind of fighting the everybody's of the world, the who's of the world. He never talked about losing because it was never on his temperament. And I think Gervonta has that same. I think Gervonta has that same mindset. Like, I believe nobody beats me.
Right.
You got a young killer on your hand, and then you gotta let him loose, man. You gotta let him do what he gotta do. Win, lose, or draw. That's why you fight. And me being an ex-fighter and been boxing since age 5, man, all the way to 18, bro. So it's like at the gym, you go to the gym, they get that right out of your system of, well, I'm here to fight any and everybody. I'm not here just to, I'm ready to put in the work with the best in here. That's just that dog mindset that you have to have. But I think Tank has it, but he can't allow for Floyd to be his mouthpiece. You know what I mean? He has to stand on his own 2 feet. You know what I mean? And say enough is enough. I thought he did, at the press conference, and said, I'm not really, me and Money Team, I don't want to talk about it or anything. And he was actually speaking out the way that he needed to speak out. I'm like, okay, here's the shift that we've been waiting for. Now we're gonna get these big fights, and now we can't find them again. So it's like, oh shit. Well, there goes that. But
Floyd's got his claws in him, bro.
Oh yeah, and Floyd is
He's
always
got his claws
about
in him.
Floyd. Yeah, Floyd is about Floyd. That's it, man. Floyd cares about nobody but Floyd. When it comes to boxing,
And it's crazy because BF said it the other day, man. Like, yo, hate to say it, man, but it's over, Floyd.
Yeah,
Your time is over. It's time for these young fighters like Tank to shine.
right.
That's the whole idea. In the beginning, we love the idea that Tank is the next one. He's your prodigy. He's the next one to, essentially be that next Floyd Mayweather, except he's got the power. He's got a slightly different skill set. He offers something different, but essentially he's taking the mantle, right? So in the beginning part of the promotional process, I didn't have a problem with it. It's just, time reveals all truth, bro.
Facts.
And now Floyd is really starting to show his true colors.
Yeah,
and
you don't want not to cut
It
you
is
off.
what it is, bro. Like, Floyd needs to fucking let it go. Like, these, seriously, bro. Like, you're what? You're 43, 44, whatever the fuck he is now.
Right.
And you're still like hinting at the idea of like rematching McGregor and all this. It's like, bro, like you promoted the idea to the whole world that defense first and don't take damage and all that shit, which yes, yes,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right? Hit and not get hit. You were one of the best at it.
Yeah.
But now you're contradicting yourself because you're a fucking 45-year-old man still trying to fight motherfuckers. And it's like, yeah, because you have this longevity, you're trying to convince us, well, I'm able to do it because I saved myself. Okay, yeah, but you're still 45 at the end of the day, bro. Like,
Right.
One of these days, you're going to go up against one of these, like, young 25, 26-year-olds who said, fuck Floyd Mayweather. And he's going to go in there and you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
You're going to end up like Muhammad Ali did against fucking Larry Holmes.
Yep. Way past his weight.
Way past his prime. It's just like, eventually, that's why I feel like a lot of this shit is rigged. Because it's like, yo, look, man, I'm going to give you $1 million. You just go in there. It's like a sparring session. I'm going to punch you in the face a few times. You just got to take it. And they're like, all right, whatever.
Right.
All right, I'll take this $1
Right.
But all it takes is one person, right? To be like, agree to everything. And when the fight happens, they go in there, they try to knock his ass out. Say, fuck your agreement.
Right. Facts.
Right?
Man.
All it takes is one person, man. You know what it is? It's going to take a crazy motherfucker like Conor McGregor. Not Conor McGregor himself, but somebody like Conor McGregor.
They have that mindset.
Like some like young, like crazy fucking white dude from Ireland that's like, fuck you. Like, I don't got nothing to lose. I'm going to try to knock you out. Like, for real.
But yeah.
And it's just like, just let it go. Let it go.
He can't.
But you know what? His dad did a lot of the same shit.
Yeah.
His dad at 50 years old was out there sparring like prospects and shit. And it's like, bro, you're supposed to be holding the mitts, mentoring and coaching. What the fuck are you doing sparring? And it's like some dude come in the gym, talk shit like, yo, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to beat up Floyd's dad. And he's like, all right, let's fight. Like, you 50, bro. You don't got time for this shit.
Right.
Like, if I'm 50, right, and I understand, just because your body ages, it doesn't mean your mind does.
Right.
And as men, we have that issue. And I've seen 60-year-old men at barbecues trying to fucking box each other and shit. I'm like, man, sit your old asses down. It's like, bro, if you can't talk it out at this point in your life, you got some shit fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? The only reason why you should ever have to put hands on somebody is 2 reasons at that age. Number 1, you got no choice to. Like, somebody's trying to harm you. Number 2, somebody try to fuck around with your daughter or your granddaughter.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
Got to do what you
Other than that, you got no fucking business trying to act like you're 25. Sit your ass down. Like it irritates me, man.
Yeah.
And my dad was like that when I was a kid. Like he was in his 40s and late 40s and 50s and shit out there trying to fight people and shit. When I was playing sports, I'm like, Dad, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Fucking embarrassing. Right? And it's just like we have this syndrome, right? We have this like we're always boys at heart at the end of the day, no matter how old we get.
Right.
And we just, and I think Floyd he has that syndrome. He can't get away from the boxing gym no matter what. It doesn't matter how much he bets on fights and goes to fights and travels the world, how much money he makes in his other businesses. He wakes up on a Saturday morning and he's like, I gotta punch somebody. He can't help himself.
Yeah. Oh, it's a hard habit to break.
Yeah.
That's
And
all
I don't
you
know if you guys remember like years ago when that white dude that was cruising around YouTube, what the fuck was his name? The white dude out there claiming that he was a champion. He tried to fight Deontay Wilder and all that, dude.
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie, yeah.
Yeah,
Charlie, right? So Charlie goes into the Floyd Mayweather gym and tries to fight Floyd Sr.
I seen that.
Right? So the thing is about that one, right? And Charlie, he's a fucking crazy ass white dude just rolling around trying to fight motherfuckers, right?
Yeah, he was.
And Charlie, he crazy, bro. Like,
Yeah,
don't get it
crazy.
twisted. I don't think he's mentally stable, number one.
No, he wasn't.
You get a guy like him, and you can be like, yo, bro, like, let's just have a little sparring match. Let's touch gloves. Next thing you know, he's throwing a fucking haymaker at your ass. Right? That's the type of dude Charlie is. And he goes in there and tries to fight Floyd. Now, Floyd Sr. probably thought, oh, whatever, it's for YouTube. I'll do the shoulder roll and we'll fuck around for a little bit. Next thing he knows, Charlie trying to knock him out.
Yeah, he trying to get him rid of him.
Charlie was straight up trying to knock Floyd Sr. out. Right? But the crazy thing is this. I'm going to be honest with everybody here. I'm going to be honest with everyone here. If that fight would have happened anywhere else other than the Floyd Mayweather gym, Charlie's fucking crazy enough to do some crazy shit. And when you saw, like, when Floyd Sr. turned his back, what happened? Charlie sucker punched him.
Yep.
And if that would have been anywhere else, Charlie would have kept punching until Floyd Sr. either got hurt, went down, or whatever. But because it was at the Floyd gym, everybody that was watching said, nah, fuck that. One dude jumped in and started throwing hands on Charlie.
Yeah. Yeah, get him out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he jumped out of the ring and ran.
So my whole point of this is that you're too old for this shit, man.
Yeah.
If I'm Floyd Sr. and I see a dude like Charlie come in there talking shit, oh, I'm gonna fight Floyd Sr. Where's Floyd Sr. at? I'm like, man, I'll get one of my young dudes on you. Hey, fight this like 16-year-old, 17-year-old fucking prospect right here. You want to fight somebody? You're older than him. Let's fight this 17-year-old right here. Put on some headgear. Let's see what's up.
Yeah,
you're in a boxing gym. There's fucking fighters everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, whatever. You're Charlie. Oh, Charlie, yeah, you got all these belts and you the champion, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. Fight this 17-year-old right here. He ain't a pro yet. He's still an amateur. So you should have no problem with him. Get his ass lit up.
Get lit up. Way too
Get
young,
lit up.
way too fast, and still getting into his power.
Exactly. So, Floyd, man, just
yeah, he need to stop.
Let it go. Like, at this point, at this point, I don't even want you being a promoter anymore either. Like, maybe you need a vacation. You need like a 5-year vacation.
Yeah. It went from it went from
go ahead.
It went from saying, "Oh shit, Floyd," to shit, Floyd, him again. Like that's never a good. That means you overstayed your welcome in boxing, bro. That means you need to go somewhere and not see you for a good 4 or 5 years for us to actually miss your work. You know
he was never a good promoter when he was a fighter. Like even promoting himself.
Yeah, he was garbage.
Even promoting himself in fights, it's just like I would rather listen to Leonard Ellerbe or somebody else from Mayweather Promotions or just somebody else. Because it's like Floyd just like the whole, I'm going to be honest with you, the whole Conor McGregor build up, Conor McGregor fucking
he did it.
Destroyed Floyd
Yeah,
in the
that's
press
so
conference.
Yep.
He stole the show. It didn't matter because at the end of the day, we all knew Floyd was going to win.
Yeah. At the end of the
But the promotional side of things, Conor was clowning Floyd badly. Like it was almost embarrassing for Floyd. And all Floyd would do is sit there and smile and laugh. It's like, bro, you getting clowned all over the fucking place. The dude came up and rubbed your bald ass head and you didn't say shit.
But even Floyd said it. Floyd said, finally, they found a guy that can outsell me and out-talk me when it comes to promotion side of things. But it's like you said, it's like he never been a good promoter. He didn't need to be. You know what I mean? You Floyd Mayweather. That's good enough. You know what I mean? Your name's on a marquee, you know, but
the thing about being a promoter is that you have to, what's up, Deanna, Big Dog Willie in the building. The thing about being a promoter is that you have to be a phenomenal public speaker. Like, I'm not even trying to clown Floyd on that level. Like, but let's just be real. He's not a great speaker.
No, he can't.
We know this.
Yeah. It's like
right? You got to be able to articulate. You got to be able to put imagery in people's minds. Like when you build a fight, like even Oscar De La Hoya can't talk. He's fucking terrible too.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Oscar's terrible. He's like, yeah, we got these two young fighters, man. We're going to let these competitive juices flow. Yeah. We got Mexico and America. I mean, shut your ass up. Let somebody else talk. The only reason why you're making these fights is because you're the golden boy and your name's attached to it. It's no different than Floyd, right?
Exactly.
But you got to have charisma. You got to know how to build shit. You got to know how to, like I said, paint imagery in people's minds on what the fuck is going to happen. We got two fighters that this, and this, boom, boom, boom. Like this person has a chance because of that. This person has a chance, you know, whatever, right? That's what promoting is. You got to promote. And Floyd's just not a good public speaker, man. He never has. He struggled in promoting himself, having to read like teleprompters and whatever. I ain't trying to clown the dude, man. The dude came from nothing, and his whole life has been boxing. Got nothing but love for him. But we're talking about him as a promoter. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You're trying to do something that you can't do and that you're not readily available to do. Your skill is boxing. Nobody can touch you. Nobody can surpass you. But this is promotion. It's like a swimmer trying to do fucking weightlifting. It's like a swimmer trying to be a cyclist. It's a different sport. It's completely fucking different.
Yes, indeed.
Right? And even an MMA fighter doing boxing, it's fucking different.
Yeah, you can't kick, you can't grapple.
So that's what Floyd needs. The thing is nobody can tell Floyd shit. He's got nothing but yes men around him.
Yep. And
that one bodyguard that he's got, that big ass white dude, like constantly just sucking Floyd's dick seriously. Every time Floyd makes an Instagram post, this motherfucker blowing up the comment section. Oh yeah, TMT, TMT, TMT. Like it's like, bro, shut your ass up. Nothing but yes men around him constantly. Nobody can tell Floyd shit. This is no secret, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. It's no secret.
No.
Nobody can tell Floyd shit. That's why Floyd's ass he'll never get married and he'll never have a long-lasting relationship. That's fact. Because ain't no woman, and it's not even about a woman like being bossy or bitchy or controlling. No. A woman can't even say, "Hey, Floyd, I think you shouldn't cook eggs this way. You should flip it this way." He'd be like, "What, bitch?" That's the type of dude Floyd is.
Fired. Yeah, fire ass right there.
And we know through the years he's had some dimes.
Oh yeah.
Next to him.
Yes,
right.
Indeed.
And he ends up fucking it up somehow. It gets fucked up somehow, you know. And then he go and tell the world, oh yeah, you see, man, like I give these women the world and they don't appreciate it. I'm like, I don't know, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck can this bitch not appreciate? Like,
Right.
you're a good looking man. You're an athlete. You're the best boxer to ever do it. You're one of the most richest men in the world. So what exactly is there not to appreciate? It's not like you were the best fighter, and then all of a sudden you ballooned up to 200 pounds and look fucked up. Like, you've stayed in shape, you stay looking good. So what do these women not appreciate? How about you probably made them feel very uncomfortable? I'm just keeping it a buck.
Right.
And and you've seen him. You saw how he talked to his own father live on whatever it was, 24/7, disrespecting his daddy all over the fucking boxing gym. You ain't shit. You were never my trainer. Roger was my trainer. And Floyd, like, I felt bad for Floyd, man. Floyd Sr. I felt bad for him, bro. Like, you can tell he was emotionally distressed having his son say that shit. And the only thing that Floyd Sr. could say was like, but you wouldn't be where you're at without your daddy. And that's fact.
Said now. Yeah, he started saying it now when Roger had passed away. When Roger passed away, that's when he started saying it.
Oh yeah, now he's close to his dad.
Oh yeah.
And then you saw that moment. What was it? Was it the Pacquiao fight? I can't remember what fight it was, but in the corner they had that little bonding moment. Floyd Jr. and Sr. and Floyd told his dad, like, almost like choking up in the middle of a fight.
That's the Berto
in the
fight.
corner.
Yeah,
he was like choking up.
Fight.
He said, "Dad, like, I remember everything you taught me from day one. I love you." Blah 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 blah.
That was the Berto fight. The last fight he was supposed to fight.
Yeah, it might have been. And then of course his dad, hugged him. Was like, "Yeah, you got this." Da 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 da. Like,
yeah,
shit happens.
Yeah,
shit happens. I didn't talk to my dad for like 7 years myself. Like, we had a falling out, and I thought he was on some bullshit, and so we didn't talk, right? And then the later years we reconnected, and shit happens sometimes, right? But I would never disrespect my dad like that in person. Like, I've told my dad, I ain't got time for this shit. I'll leave. You know what I'm saying? I'll walk out, or I'll go somewhere else, or I'll be like, I'll tell him I think you want some bullshit, and that's it, right? But I'm not gonna be like in front of everybody. Literally everybody that mattered was there,
right?
Including the cameras. Saying, you ain't shit. You're my dad, but you ain't shit. You never been shit. I never appreciated you, never respected you. Basically, that's what he said.
Yeah. He was a bum
motherfucker. You wouldn't be here without him. Period.
Yeah, for real.
So, this is some shit that, like, if we were to have a boxing conversation, and people said, "All right, Divine, who, let's say Floyd resume or Floyd's skills against this dude's skills," I'll argue for Floyd all fucking day.
Oh yeah.
And nobody, I'll challenge anybody. I don't give a fuck who your fighter. You can bring anybody to the table. Anybody. You can bring Sugar Ray Robinson to the table. I don't give a fuck. We can chop it up. Right?
Right.
But the facts remain on who this man is outside the boxing ring.
Yeah, he's horrible.
And nobody is exempt of being criticized. Like, what you do in your personal life is what you do in your personal life. If you want to marry 10 women, marry 10 women. If you want to have fucking orgies every single day in your Mayweather mansion, have orgies every fucking day. Do cocaine. I don't give a fuck what you do. But the problem is that you're now promoting Tank Davis, one of the true talents in the sport today. And you are affecting his process. Right? Even De La Hoya, right? When everybody come out making fun of De La Hoya because he's wearing dresses and shit like that, and fucking little boys and all this other shit, right?
Oh shit.
Like, I don't do that. Personally, like, I never made a video about it. I never talk about it because
about it. That's his shit.
It's another man's business. What he does is what he does, man. And to me, That's the problem with the world, is we're too fucking worried about what people do in their personal lives. If we all mind our own goddamn business, the world would be a better place. But the problem is when you affect others. It's the libertarian mindset, right? It's that I don't give a fuck what you do as long as you don't affect me and other people.
Facts.
It's simple. It's not fucking rocket science. So when you are a narcissist and you are a person who is very self-absorbed, you then inflict others. And it so happens that it is Tank Davis. So now it becomes our issue as boxing fans because we have love for Tank. We think that Tank can accomplish great things. And we have a person like you. We know who you are and what you are, Floyd.
Yep.
And although we don't give a fuck what you do in your personal life, we do give a fuck what you do to Tank Davis's life.
Right.
And that's the idea that I'm trying to promote to people.
Yeah. How he did Badu Jack was absolutely crazy. And Fox, Michael Fox. Badu was a champion, but he wasn't. He was all right. I can't say that he was good. He was okay.
He's a C+ fighter.
Yeah, so I said he's okay. He barely. Yeah, he's all right. He's okay.
C+ fighter, and Floyd was holding on to him for dear life.
Yes, he was. Hey, man,
and then Tank came along and he's like, shit, this is what I need.
Yep.
Look,
now
man,
I
Tank,
know that.
if you're listening, look, bro, it's something that you can do what you need to do, and then 5, 6, 7 years down the road, if you want to revisit Mayweather Promotions because you and Floyd have some type of friendship or whatever behind the scenes, and you want to bring them back on, do it. But you got to do what you need to do as a man first. Go conquer your legacy first. Prove to the world that you're one of the best. And then when you're chilling with all these belts and beat the Devin Haneys of the world and the Shakurs of the world, and you do what you need to do, and then you want to cruise the latter half of your fucking career and go back to Mayweather Promotions so Mayweather can sleep good at night because you guys are friends, then fucking do it. You can do whatever you want at that point. Right? But right now, the thing about it is that Tank to me seems like a guy that if you caught him one-on-one and you talk some real shit, he'd listen.
Oh, most definitely.
He'll listen. He'd be like, yeah, I feel you. But Floyd, he don't listen to shit.
Nah, he don't.
He don't listen to nothing. Like I said, he's the type of dude that if you're making some sunny side up eggs and you don't flip it right and you try to tell him, just say, get the fuck out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
I flip eggs the way I want to flip eggs, motherfucker. That's the type of dude that he is, man. And you see it all the time in interviews.
Yeah, it's shows.
And unfortunately, most journalists, they're too afraid to press Floyd.
Yeah.
They're too afraid. They're always like, trying to be nice and shit. And anybody that does stand up to him, Floyd gets his feathers ruffled up quick time.
Divine, it's kind of funny because you're saying that, but I think he always been arrogant, but as he's in his mid-40s, he's going through a midlife crisis. He's trying to grow. I'm dead serious. He's trying to get his hair grown back or whatever he did with his hair. He wants to be all in the mix with the younger fighters. He's telling younger fighters he's better than them still. He's telling people that he still can sell out this and all this. And he's going through a midlife crisis. And that's basically, and he's already been an asshole, but going through a midlife crisis is making it worse. And you're seeing the worst of it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
It's not a good look, man. It's not a good look. And the thing about it is that like our generation, I think everybody on this panel more or less around the same age, within 5 or 6 years, we already know and respect Floyd for what he's done in the sport. Like what you're doing right now doesn't make any goddamn difference to us because you've already gotten our respect and our accolades. You're going to be remembered to be as one of the best to ever do it. So I don't know what the fuck you're trying to prove to our generation, the people that are born in the 70s and 80s and 90s. I don't know what the fuck you're trying to prove to us. Now, these younger kids out here who watch Jake Paul fight, fuck them. Fuck them. Because guess what? They'll find out later when it's all said and done. Just like I had to find out about, the fighters in the 80s when I didn't know much about them when I was a kid. My dad told me about them all the time and how great those four kings were. And I had to go back and watch ESPN Classics, and I had to do my research. And I was like, damn, these motherfuckers were good. Shit. Damn.
Yeah.
Right? And these young kids are going to do that same thing. Right now, it's like, and the advantage now is everything's on YouTube.
Yep.
Now you can just type in Floyd versus Manny, Floyd versus fucking whoever. You can go Floyd, Angel Man Freddy. It's all on fucking YouTube now.
Yep. Turo got
you can see Pretty Boy Floyd, and you can see Mayweather, Money Mayweather.
Pretty Boy was a beast.
Yeah, Pretty Boy was a prop. That's the one I used to imitate a lot when I was boxing. Was Pretty Boy. He had it all, man.
The beautiful thing of Pretty Boy Floyd was he obviously adopted that defensive style from his dad. His dad implemented that shit in him as a young boy, right? But when his dad went to prison and Roger took over, he still had that shoulder roll when he needed to, but he had the shades of the Black Mamba, right? He had the shades of Roger. And the thing that Roger did well with Floyd was he basically, you can tell the way that he coached Floyd that he's like, nobody can stop you.
Right.
Nobody can stop you. And just go. You hear Roger say it all the time in the corner. Man, beat this motherfucker's ass. Beat his ass.
Yeah.
Fucking go to the body, step back, right hand, left hand, whatever it is, man. Just beat this motherfucker's ass. If you ever go back and listen to Roger Mayweather, hardly ever did like a strategical fucking breakdown like a Virgil Hunter or a Teddy Atlas or whatever the fuck, right? He's very just like, man, beat this motherfucker's ass. Go down in the basement, put water in the fucking basement, and beat his ass.
Yeah, the Mamba was very aggressive. He was aggressive.
That killer instinct that he got when he was Pretty Boy, that was
That was Roger. Yeah, that was all Roger.
That was
100% Roger. Yeah,
yes, it was
100%.
Yeah.
And then when his dad came back, and then he started, around the De La Hoya era, where he reverted back to that, pot shotting and shoulder roll, and a part of it was, I think, having problems with his hands. That was definitely part of it. And a lot of people don't want to admit that, but the dude was having some serious hand problems.
Yeah, he was.
By the time he made it to 140, because he's just fighting naturally bigger guys and punching them in the fucking skull, and it was fucking up his hands. And people forget, like, Floyd is a small guy.
Yeah, he ain't no big guy.
Right. So
great point.
That's part of it. The other part of it is that, there was this sense of like longevity in his mind. He's like, man, I ain't trying to get in wars with these motherfuckers. I'm going to slip. I'm going to roll. I'm going to counter. I'm going to control a fight. I'm going to win, 10 out of 12 rounds. And I'm going to cruise to these belts and make this fucking money. So it went both ways. Now, we loved him I think all of us on the panel would prefer a Pretty Boy Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you look at Money Mayweather, it's like, you still can't really hate on it because nobody could fucking touch him.
There's boxing that is beautiful. It's like,
he was nice. I like Pretty Boy, but Money, you can't go wrong with that, man.
No, you can't. You can't. Well, see, Money, when he turned into Money, he already knew, okay, my legs is slowing down. And that's the first thing to go when you're boxing. When you know your legs is going, you can't move, you can't, you know what I mean? So he knew, like, oh shit, I know it's coming. So I have to learn how to perfect my defense more than what I know, you know what I mean, and get the judges' eyes with clean shots. It ain't so much as hitting them hard as when I hit them and accurately hitting them and getting the fuck out.
IQ. The IQ is ridiculous.
You can keep hand speed for a minute.
Oh yeah, that ain't going nowhere.
But you're right. It's that footwork, man, and you don't really. You start noticing that your feet are like in quicksand a little bit by round 4 and 5. when you start getting a little bit older, it doesn't matter how much road work you do and how much skipping you do and how many fucking body weight squats you do. At the end of the day, your quads, your hammies, your glutes, and all those big ass fucking slow twitch muscle fibers, it don't move like they used to.
Nope.
I mean, it's as simple as that. But so that's why you see older fighters, like even with Muhammad Ali, man, with the rope-a-dope, they start fighting in the pocket and shit because they just can't move like they used to.
He couldn't move.
Yeah, fighting in the pocket, trying to roll punches and counter, and sometimes because you're experienced and certain shots when they're coming in certain ways, you know what I'm saying, you can capitalize on it.
Right.
And that's why I feel like Floyd had problems with Maidana, because Maidana forced him to move when he didn't want to.
Yeah, and shots was coming from everywhere. Very unorthodox fighter. They wasn't no regular straight. These mugs was over the top.
But Divine, that's where that IQ came in. My fault. That's where that IQ came in. And I think that's in that second fight he watched him. So if the IQ he learned, he's like, okay, this is how this guy want to fight. Okay. And
timing.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, the IQ was uncanny. I mean, when you go back, I'll never forget when I watched the Mayweather Mosley fight. I was back in the States visiting at that time, and me and my dad went to a local bar, and it was packed. The fucking place was packed, and so we're sitting in there, and it was like 90% of the people going for Shane Mosley, right? Yep. Naturally, no fucking surprise.
Of course,
right? So everybody's in there like, yeah, this is Shane, and I get it. Like when you go back and look at 135, Shane Mosley was a fucking beast.
Yeah, he was a problem.
At 135, right? Like he was a serious problem.
Yeah, he was right.
And a guy like that is always going to be a fan favorite, man. I mean, it's just the way it is, right? So I got it, but it's because people just they're sick of Floyd. They want to see his ass lose. So the bar's packed, man. People are screaming and shouting for Shane and shit. And then that big punch landed, and Floyd almost got dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, me as a Floyd fan, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yep, never seen it.
Oh shit! Like he got hit once, and then he kind of covered up, and then he got hit a second time, where Shane caught him with the left hook, and his whole legs buckled. And two things crossed my mind. I said, either one, Shane's going to capitalize on that because he's shown to do it before. He did it against Margarito.
Yeah.
When he kept hurting Margarito, and he just continuously kept punishing him.
He kept punishing.
Or two, Floyd has now been hit with his best shot, and so it's game over. It's not going to happen again. And I looked at my dad. I kind of nudged my dad on the shoulder, and I was like, don't get your hopes up, because that was Shane's best shot, and he couldn't finish it. It's over now.
He closed it. He beat the shit out of Shane from 4 all the way to 12.
Oh, he beat the living shit out of Shane. God damn.
Every shot, every right hand, and Shane couldn't get away from the right hand, the lead right hand, bro. The lead right hand. Not even his jab, his lead right hand. Popping his ass.
It was
like,
man, I swear to God, Shane Mosley is one of the most hard-headed motherfuckers I've ever seen. This guy.
He was snapping his head back, bro. I was like, damn.
And it's crazy because that's why I got so infuriated.
Yeah.
From the Shane Mosley Pacquiao fight.
Yeah.
Because Pacquiao was he dropped his ass like 5 times in that fight or some shit. I'm like, what?
And he's still getting up.
I was like, I refuse to believe it. Shane Mosley on that fucking bullshit. This motherfucker, he ain't trying to be. He don't want to fight. He don't want to be in there. Right. He's laying down for Pacquiao. Fuck all that shit. And I hate to say that about Shane because Shane has always been a warrior, win, lose, or draw. But that Pacquiao fight was a disgrace.
No, hey, you ain't wrong for saying that because he did that another time complaining about his back. Like, I hate to think about the moments, but man, he was packing it up in a few fights at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Oh yeah.
And what was even more infuriating is like after the Pacquiao Shane Mosley fight, of course, all the Pacquiao fans coming on YouTube, goddamn, they're celebrating it like it's Mardi Gras or some shit. Oh yeah, like we fucked up Shane Mosley, and even Mayweather couldn't do that, and da. Because at that time, it was all about everything that ever happened was always about Mayweather Pacquiao until it's like that's why we wanted those two motherfuckers to fight, because every time Floyd would fight somebody, they would say, "See, if he does it to him, he'll do it to Pacquiao," and then Pacquiao will fight fucking Margarito and Shane Mosley and Joshua Clottey, and they'll say, "See, Pacquiao's too fast, he's too strong, whatever," right? And it was just like, oh my God, like this shit just got to get over with, right? But when people came on about the Shane Mosley fight, I was like, there's nothing for you to clap your hands about at all. Shane Mosley looked like dog shit. Yeah, he didn't even look like a shell of himself. It was like a fucking shadow of himself. It was disgusting.
It was tough to watch, man. There's a few Pacquiao fights like that, man, where you can clearly see he fought the dude like when Pacquiao fought Cotto. That wasn't Cotto, and like he was so drained. The De La Hoya fight, dead man fucking God, walking. Yeah. It's like, dude,
that was terrible.
Yeah, I could not stand those. And then they want to give him props. And like I said, Floyd pointed out when he fought Cotto, he's like, well, shit, the first dude you fought cheated, and this dude drained you. So like this is the first time he's getting a chance to be at full strength fighting somebody.
Right.
All facts. And see, then people criticize Mayweather's victory over Hatton. But I'm like, well, there's a difference between having to go up weight a little bit and then being fucking weight drained.
Right.
And Hatton wasn't weight drained. As a matter of fact, Hatton looked fucking weight drained against Pacquiao.
He did.
He overtrained against Pacquiao. 1,000% he was overtrained.
Right.
Because when he got hit flush, that's when that body couldn't hold up any fucking more. He was probably running 10 miles and sparring a day before the fucking fight. He was way overtrained. And that's on Floyd Mayweather Sr.
Yeah.
Ricky Hatton was never a big fighter. But when he got in the ring with Floyd, I was like, oh shit, he about to bully this dude. Floyd was not bigger than him. Ricky Hatton never was a big fighter.
Hey, but people like that shit. First of all, like they sell that fight short. Number one, Ricky Hatton was undefeated. He had beat Costa Zoo. I mean, I'm gonna say whatever. Costa Zoo, and you can say what you want, but Costa Zoo was a menace at that time. He used to beat the hell out of dudes. Now he did low-key. You could say maybe he dug Floyd or whatever. I don't know, but he went to Australia and beat him there and stood up to those heavy hands. So it's not like I get tired of people talking about, oh, like he pulled him up in weight. It's not. Look, there's 147, 140, 147 is not a significant jump.
It ain't.
He didn't beat him with weight. It wasn't like he just came forward and leaned on. He rolled him into a punch that he had been throwing out there all night, and he just finally caught him, and the dude fell into the turnbuckle. He used his own pressure against him. You know, so I mean, shit, man, that's a legit fight, man. Like I don't buy this guy's smaller and this, that, and all this crap. Right. It's just goofy. Like, yo, if he's in the fight, he made the weight. It is what it is. Now, there's a difference, like I said, between some of the fights where Floyd, you're getting outweighed by 20, 30 fucking pounds. Yeah, that's different. But come on, man. He was undisputed champion. If he wins that fight, nobody says, damn, that little guy got lucky. Nobody says that. They're just like, oh, we knew he was going to beat Floyd. His pressure, he's an English man. He got heart. You know what I'm saying? That's what would have came out of people's mouth. He just got knocked out. So it is what it is.
It's the same thing with Earl Spence and Mikey Garcia. Like, Earl wasn't going looking for it. Mikey decided he wanted to jump in the big boy tank.
Mikey called him out.
And Earl beat the shit out of him from round 1.
No, it's the way he beat him. Because if you want to think about if it was about size, he could have just steamrolled Mikey.
Yeah, man. To be honest with you, from 8, 9, I was like, oh, he about to get Mikey ass out of there.
Mikey was on a damn moral victory path at the end of that damn fight.
Like I said, Spence kind of knew. He was like, yeah, you know what I mean? He was just lollygagging, to be honest with you. But if he really wanted to get Mikey out of there, he would have got Mikey ass out of there. Yeah, I'm sorry. He would have got Mikey out of there.
Well, another Another classic one was when Floyd came out of retirement and he fought Juan Manuel Marquez.
Yes, sir.
And everybody was like, "Man, this is bullshit. He's making, Juan come up in weight, da 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 da." And it's like, okay, maybe, but the problem with that is that Floyd schooled his ass so fucking badly that I don't give a fuck what weight class they would have fought in.
Right. It wouldn't have mattered.
It wasn't like, oh, Juan had a few moments, but if he was a little bit lighter, he could have done X. Not like he was punching at air the whole goddamn fight.
Right.
And it was just unfathomable to even assume that he would have a chance at any other weight class.
Right.
And then what happens? Marquez comes back a few years later and puts Pacquiao to sleep.
Yeah. That was Pacquiao's kryptonite right there.
At 147, right?
Yeah.
Where he was too small.
When he was too small.
And that's what Floyd used to say. He was like, well, he's not too small for Pacquiao, but then he's too small for me, but y'all want me to fight Pacquiao. Like, which one is it?
And he schooled
right?
Pacquiao.
And people kept saying, too, like, well, yeah, but, Pacquiao, he started off at even lower weight class. He was like a fucking straw weight, basically. He came up from like 122 or whatever the fuck he was when he first started. So he's naturally smaller than Floyd. And it's like, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool and everything, but this motherfucker just got done fighting Margarito. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Margarito's a middleweight, basically.
Pretty much.
Hey, no, they always had some kind of stupid like even Sugar Shane Mosley. What was the bailout they had to come when he fucking schooled him? Oh, Sugar Shane Mosley was old, but Pacquiao fought him after that. Like, get the fuck out of here, like, dude.
Man, you
like,
know
all
what?
These, or even the oh well, Floyd aged Pacquiao out. He's older than him. So how you age somebody out that you older than? Like, it's
Jesus
stupid.
Christ.
Man,
and it comes back in relevancy even just like recently when Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman, right? And everybody was like, "Oh man, he's back! He's back! Oh my God! Look at this man! He's still got the speed. He's got the power."
Right.
And then he comes in there against Ugas and got smacked up. Then people want to say Ugas ain't shit when Earl beats him. I'm like, you motherfuckers, man.
Can't win.
You motherfuckers are never satisfied.
Yeah, man. I think Pacquiao was juicing, though. Ain't no way a fucking strawweight carry that much power. I'm sorry. Not if it's God given. Now, Javante, I can believe. I believe he can knock a middleweight out. Pacquiao, no, bro.
No, hey, what convinced me with Pacquiao, regardless of what his knockouts.
It was never power, anyways. It was speed.
When he turned down the test, talking about he was afraid of needles and all that. That's when I decided, he's cheating because you got tattoos all over your body. Okay, biggest fight of your life, the fight you swear you've been hammering for, and he didn't gave you everything you wanted, 50-50 split, everything you want. But I want to make sure you clean, and your ass say, "Oh no, I don't fuck around with needles." Okay. Just like he swam in the ocean and healed your shoulder. Like, okay. I knew then he full of shit.
Right.
Like I don't
I was I was so fucking disappointed. Press conference after Mayweather Pacquiao.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker come out talking about, oh, I couldn't do what I needed to do because my shoulder was hurt. Like, that was the most fucking disgraceful fucking post-fight conference I've ever fucking heard in my life.
Yeah.
Because
that was terrible.
For me, right, of course, I was always advocating for Floyd to win the fight for fucking 6 years. I kept telling people, it don't matter. It don't fucking matter. It's over. It's fucking over. Floyd's going to win the fight, right? When he won, I didn't, like, it wasn't like I was doing backflips. I was just like, yeah, I mean, I told you motherfuckers. Like, I didn't feel any resentment towards Pacquiao. Pacquiao still one of the best of the generation, regardless. It's just Floyd's better. I mean, it is what it is. So I wasn't like, yeah, fuck Pacquiao. I was like, hey, it's just Pacquiao will be fine. Pacquiao will be totally fine. He'll go and fight a couple more fights. He might win another fucking belt. He might go and beat a young champion, but it's just he can't beat Floyd, right?
Right.
So when the post-fight conference came and he said, oh, they didn't let me get injections to help me with my shoulder pain. And I'm like, motherfucker, you were throwing everything in the kitchen sink at Floyd.
Yeah.
Missing, by the way.
Missing
And
bad.
they asked Floyd, they said, Floyd, did you feel like he had an injury? And he's like, absolutely not. This motherfucker was hitting me hard. Like Floyd said, he hit me hard a couple of times. Like I had to be careful. And Floyd said, I understand.
That shoulder shit I only seen be dealt with properly one fucking time. That was when Nonito Donaire tried to pull that shit at the end of the ring in the Alpha Valley, but he said it in the ring and the crowd literally started booing his ass. Like, bitch, there was nothing wrong with your shoulder. You just got your ass whooped. So Pacquiao realized, because they Filipino brothers, that, let me bring this shit up in the backstage. You bring it up in the ring, I'm going to get booed at the house. That shit was bullshit. There was nothing wrong with that, man. There was no grimace. I've seen fools hurt. You weren't grimacing. You were swinging. You were doing like you normally do, bopping around, swinging for the fences, but you thought the air was Floyd's face because that's all you was hitting.
There's just certain shit you can't hide, man, in a fight. Like, yeah, you got adrenaline and adrenaline's pumping, and you can you can fight through certain shit for a certain amount of time. But even Floyd, when Floyd broke his hand, like he grimaced like he had to take a knee. It hurt so bad, right? Other fighters where they hurt their elbow, their shoulder, they roll, like Yuri Foreman when he fucking rolled his ankle in the middle of a fight, or his knee. He fucked up his knee, I think it was. Right. Like there's so many like instances where fighters are truly hurt. Look at Keith Thurman. The motherfucker had to take his mouthpiece out when he got when he got hurt with a body shot. Like there's certain indications where you like fighters, you can't fake a fucking shoulder injury. Your punches come from your core, your hips, and your fucking shoulder, you fucking retards.
Yep.
Yeah.
How could you throw a fucking hook if you don't have any rotational movement in your shoulder? Like it's just not gonna happen. Like if your hand is broken, you can still technically throw it. It's gonna hurt like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
But you can still throw it.
Yep.
But a shoulder,
no.
You ain't got no snap. You ain't got no speed. You ain't got no power.
You stopping that fight,
right?
buddy.
So it's just like, and I went back and I like when Pacquiao said it initially, I'm like,
no way.
I'm like, really? Shit, I'm gonna have to go back and watch, right?
Yeah, that's why I did.
So I went back and watched it, and I was like, ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way, right? Because I'm like, I think he said his right shoulder, right? He's a southpaw.
Something like that.
He's a southpaw, right? So that's his lead hand.
Yeah.
It's his lead hand, right? So I thought, man, Pacquiao's never been a great jabber anyways.
No.
He's a straight up southpaw, left dominated fighter trying to get the left hand in there.
Right.
Over the years, he got a little bit better with the right hook and jabbing a little bit better because he knew it was his weakness, but he's not known to be able to work behind a jab.
Yeah.
It's his foot speed that gets him into range.
Right.
He doesn't use feints very often. I mean, he kind of jab steps, but he doesn't use his hands as feints.
He hops in he hops in for a jab. It's
right.
Like
That's how he
jab.
uses a feint. Yeah. So his feint is hop in and kind of get you to react, and then he'll like double hop in and throw a combination and shit like that. But my point is that I thought to myself, God damn, I swear to God, he threw some big right hooks in that fight.
He did.
And then I went back, and there was that round where he actually hurt Floyd, and Floyd was on the ropes.
The fourth round.
Yeah.
A part of that combination was a fucking right hook in there.
It was.
And it was a nice right hit too.
Yeah, it was a flush right hook.
Yeah, it was nice. But his arm, what is it, like a torn? He says torn ligament or something like that in his arm, or rotator cuff or something.
Yeah.
I was
Ain't no fucking way.
Ain't no way, buddy.
Ain't no way, but and it's just, and then you got Bob Arum up there trying to like ride the idea. It's like, Bob,
He got his ass
your
whooped.
fucking old Grim Reaper looking ass up. Like, you're so fucking hurt right now because Floyd got the best of you. He took your money and he took the fucking fight against Pacquiao. And your dumbass went out. You fucking knew Floyd was going to beat Pacquiao. You knew that deep down in your old, grimy, dirty ass soul. You knew that shit. But you went out there telling the whole world, oh, Pacquiao, you know, I get it. That's your job. You got to promote your fighter. But you fucking knew, bro. So when Floyd did what he did, you knew exactly what it was going to be like. You knew. And I told people as well, Floyd is going to win a 12-round decision, and it's going to be clear. It's going to be clean cut.
Right.
And even when motherfucker, no, man, I think Floyd stops him. I said, no, he's not. It's going to be a 12-round decision. Because the only way you stop Pacquiao is the way Marquez stopped Pacquiao. You got to trade fire with fire.
Yep. Kind of left hand.
And Mayweather's not going to do that.
Nope.
Not at all.
And it took Marquez 4 fucking fights to figure that shit out.
He timed him just perfectly.
And to be honest,
bro, you know how many times he must have worked on that shit?
Oh,
Do you know how many times he watched film studies of Pacquiao jumping in, leaning in, coming in with that left hand? And he watched the film of all 3 fights leading up to it, and he's like, God damn, I gotta figure out a way to counter that. And he worked on that shit over and over and over again. And when he did it in the fight, it was like you can tell that that's some shit that he practiced over and over again.
Right.
He timed him just perfectly.
Yep.
And all that momentum with Pacquiao jumping in there like that with his head like that, and it was just.
But the knockdown before that, earlier in the fight, when Marquez hit him with the overhand right, y'all remember that knockdown?
Mm-hmm. We're knocked down, yeah.
Woo! I said, oh man, I think Marquez stops him tonight. When he hit him with that big right hand, I was like, because you can tell Marquez, he upgraded his power for that fight. Mm-hmm. Marquez upgraded his power. You can tell he was swinging a fucking sledgehammer or some shit leading up to that fight. Like he was fucking determined to not go to, because you think if you're Marquez, right? You've been 3 fights with him, and you always come up short on the cards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He had enough.
So you're like, no, there ain't no fucking way I'm gonna risk it. Every punch I throw has to be with knockout intentions.
Right.
And he landed that shot. He landed that shot, man. And Pacquiao laying face down, ass up like that. I mean, as a human being, it was a scary moment. I was like, damn. Yo, I think Juan might have killed him.
Yeah, it did look like that. He was sleeping.
That's like, God damn.
He was sleeping.
He was sleeping, bro, for a minute.
Right.
And when I saw Jinky come running into ring like that, I was like, my heart dropped a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, damn. You got your kids there and everything.
I know, that looked bad. That looked real bad.
Yeah, man.
And then when he finally came to, I kind of like, sigh of relief. And I'm thinking to myself, the first thing y'all want to know what comes to my mind? Karma's a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Karma's a bitch, bro. I'm telling you, that's the first shit that came to my head, man.
Oh man. Because
all of that turmoil and talking shit and all of that shit with Floyd and it's just what it. Yo, the karma has a way of humbling us, man.
Hey, I want to ask the panel this: What was the worst knockout between the two? Because I think that one with Paul Williams and was it Martinez? When Paul Williams got knocked out,
yeah,
I thought that was worse than the one when Pacquiao got knocked out.
Yeah, I would say Paul Williams
because Paul Williams got
spun around.
He got hit hard.
Yeah. It was kind of like it was almost like Beterbiev and Smith when Beterbiev hit Smith and Smith did a fucking 360.
Yeah.
But the only difference is like Smith didn't like go down like Paul did. But it was like it's kind of like that type of shot where it's you hit some motherfucker so hard they just spin around.
Yeah, he was sleeping with his eyes open.
I give you another one. I'd say Gervonta Davis versus Santa Cruz. That uppercut he hit.
That was vicious.
Damn, holy yeah, man.
That's the one shot in boxing. Like when I've like sparred and been in the ring, man, is I've always been leery of fucking uppercuts, man, because that's a shot you just don't see.
You don't see it. And he throws
and
bro, when I
like,
said I was there for that. I was in San Antonio for that fight.
Oh, you were?
Damn.
A mid row, bro. And when I said it sounded like him hitting a fucking heavy bag, bro, like that pop, I was like, Jesus Christ. And he just crumbled. I was like, oh, dog, that dude dead, bro. And he was not moving, bro. He didn't move for a good while. I was like, man, I think he might have killed this dude for real. Cause
Yeah, and the thing about, and we're talking about a pretty tough fighter in Leo Santa Cruz, man.
He can fight his ass off, man, but we all knew it was coming. It was like, bro, he's not gonna withstand Gervonta Davis' power. Nobody has. You know, everybody in the ring except one went to sleep, man.
Yeah, and that's why Tank and a Devin Haney fight is so intriguing.
Yes, it's very intriguing. It's like
because it's the boxer versus the boxer puncher, and
yes,
can Devin Haney go in there and basically I mean, because to me, to beat Tank, he's got to box brilliantly for 12 rounds.
Yeah,
and he's got the ability to do it.
Yeah, it's like fighting Deontay Wilder. You know, you can box all you want to, but it takes that one fucking punch. That's all it takes. That one right hand.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean, a little bit off topic, but and I might drop a vid about it later, since tonight's live stream is relatively quiet. But I saw an article come up that Tyson Fury has admitted that after I think it's the third fight where he had brain swelling and was scared that he was going to have brain damage. And he said it was a scary moment in his life, and that's why he said that he wanted to retire. He would have retired right away if he didn't have that mandatory.
What is he doing with these belts?
It makes you wonder, though. It makes you wonder because I don't want to reach too far and say that the Dillian White and Fury fight was fixed, but if you put all the pieces together, right? Fury coming off the victories against Wilder, there's no way that Fury's team and the promotional side of things they know about Fury having the brain swelling.
They had to know about it, right? So you're going up against Dillian White. What are the possibilities, right? And then it's like, I would never assume that. I never want to assume that because you always think in boxing, like, nah, it's two motherfuckers going in there and they want to give it their all, right? But when I saw the press conferences and the tickling and the chuckling and the hugging and the kissing and all this fucking pussy ass shit, I'm like, man, this shit just looks suspect as fuck. And then the way that he caught Dillian White and Dillian White went down like that, I had a hard time accepting it. And I know there's a lot of Fury fans who be like, well, you just got to accept it because Fury, he's that type of guy,
Yeah,
Fury's a monster, bro. You just hate him, bro. Ain't no way that I was playing. But hey, no, that fight wasn't. I don't think it was like that bad. I just think that we didn't realize how washed Dillian White
was never good.
Yeah, he was completely washed. We're talking about former steroid user. He got knocked out the same way he always get knocked out.
Uppercut.
The signature moment we talk about for him is him swinging a punch that I thought AJ got dropped on, but he just kind of caught him with a good shot. They act like he was like that's his moment in the sun. He cheated. He lost that fight against Rivas. The motherfucker's been on steroids. He looked it out of shape. He looked like shit. Yep. So I'm not surprised he got knocked out. I think, to be honest, that's the best cherry pick he could have had. Now, if that was a Chisora or something like that and he had knocked him out, I would have been like, nah, this is some bullshit. But there's no danger there. Like, really think about Tyson Fury's campus pride thing. Like, this dude came and reached his head, and we saw what happened. Like, right. Dillian White was swinging at nothing. It was just like he was waiting to get fucking defeated. It was no chance.
Right. It was a payday for him.
So I
he's
get what
just
you're
garbage,
saying.
though.
So it's not necessarily that it was rigged. It was more of a situation that because Tyson Fury was in fear that he may have some type of brain situation, that the best fight would be a Dillian White because he's not a
garbage.
Threat.
Garbage.
Drew talked on it. You know, in one of his lives saying that, that's the reason why he did retire and wanted to retire is because the Deontay Wilder, 3 trilogy fights,
And that's exactly what pisses me off is that Fury fans out there pretending like it wasn't competitive. Fury won easily. You know the words that they use over there in the UK.
Oh man,
he fucking demolished Wilder. Wilder's a fucking bum, mate. He's a fucking bum. He fucking demolished him.
He cheated 3 times.
Hey, after the
And I'm
first
thinking to
fight, his
myself-
dad didn't even want him to fight no more. That's how much damage he took in the first fight. So
Yeah.
it's bullshit when people say that because, like I said, Big Fury was like, "Man, I don't want this dude fighting." Like he ain't stupid. You can see.
Yeah,
He went home with Tyson Fury and saw this motherfucker lumped up and walking around wobbly and shit. That's why, like I said, even though they interrupted, that's probably why they stalled the first rematch so much because it was just
Facts.
It took a lot out of him, man. Look, he's the only fighter. Let's be honest. He's the only fighter that has had to absorb maybe 5 or 6 of Deontay Wilder's strongest right hands and continue to fight. Everybody else went to sleep or never seen him again. He's actually absorbed 6 of those punches.
well, he kind of got coached on to standing up because he was knocked out in third and the freaking first one, man. He was completely.
He was knocked out in the third too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was out.
Yeah.
He didn't know where he was. He didn't know he was. It was a 14 fucking second count.
Hey, I brought this up the other night. If you guys because I watched the Joyce fight, and notice in the UK when somebody gets dropped, they got that announcer starts counting.
Yeah,
Like immediately starts counting. If
Right,
that
yeah.
had happened in the first fight and the third fight, he gets counted out both fucking times
Well,
because
see,
it just immediately starts counting. It ain't this. Oh well, I decided it's not a 10 count. So it's up to the he would have got counted out and the
Yeah.
fight's over.
in boxing, the side judge counts when somebody hit the fucking canvas, and they have to start wherever the fuck the side judge is counting from. But he didn't. He started over because he didn't know what count it was. He started over on purpose, and then he started counting. I was
Nah,
like, "Oh
so-
my god, bro!"
So this
Really?
this is what happened, and I spoke about it, did a few lives about it, in the third fight in particular. Now the first fight, man, this is my problem with the first fight is that his head banged off the canvas and his eyes rolled to the back of his head. So you have to make the claim because it's a valid claim that 60 to 70% of referees call that off right away.
Yeah, they called it off.
Right? They're waving it off.
Yeah.
Now, Jack Reese is a very inconsistent referee.
Very.
Jack Reese has been known to call fights early, but he has also been known to let fighters fight. I've seen him do both. Okay, I have seen him do both. So rather you want to say, oh, he's a fan of Fury, or he was a fan of the fight that night, and so he wanted to see where the fuck it would go. That's very fucking possible because Jack Reese seems like that type of dude. He's like, man, this is a good ass fight. I'm enjoying this shit. Let's see if he gets up.
Right.
Whatever, right? First fight is what it is. And even though Fury got up, I still think that Wilder should have won a decision.
Yeah.
It should have not been a draw. And the only reason why it was a draw is because they wanted to push that rematch. But it's unnecessary because even if you give Wilder the victory, they're going to push for a rematch regardless. So the whole draw scenario was fucking bullshit. Now, in the third fight, this is the rules of boxing. The referee, and I had to look it up, by the way. I had to look it up. I had to go to WBA, WBC official rule book, which wasn't fucking easy to find, by the way. I had to do a lot of digging. And I had to read through it. The referee is the ultimate authority in the ring.
Right.
The ringside judge is there essentially to help the referee in a case of a knockdown and or a fighter doesn't go into the correct corner or other shit may happen in the ring, so they pick up the count.
Right.
Right. So initially the referee, if there's some shit happening, they'll look over to see where the count is at. But the official count is through the referee ultimately. So it doesn't matter where the fucking ringside guy has it. It's all in the power of the referee.
Right.
So in that knockdown, if you were to count it from the point of him dropping onto the canvas, which officially, as soon as the knee touches the canvas, the count starts. That's exactly when the ringside judge starts counting.
Right.
So if you were to count from that point all the way into the point where Fury actually got up, I think I counted like 12 or something like that, like 11 or 12. He didn't beat the count. But the problem is this. This is the problem. Is that he redirected Wilder into the wrong corner.
Right.
Which he stopped his own count.
Right.
So Wilder was already making his way to the correct corner, to the neutral corner. Mora fucking stopped him, redirected him, stopped his count, and took him to the other corner.
Right.
So when the count was stopped, he picked up where he left off, which I think it was at 4. When he was at 4, he stopped Wilder, redirected him, and then picked up at 4. So he went 4, 3 to 4 second pause, and then 5, 6, whatever. And I think, according to the referee's count, he got up at like 8.
Right.
Right. So the issue isn't necessarily the ringside judge or the count per se. The issue is why the fuck were you worried about Deontay Wilder when he was already going to the right corner?
I you know what? I seen it, but I was like, nah, I'm tripping.
No, I hated that they even switched that. I don't even understand the last minute switch with that. But here's the funny part. Now that you bring that up, that count is reminiscent. Now we just noticed it more because the referee was yelling at the dude. But that's right. Lucian Bute versus Andrade or whatever his name was, where Lucian Bute was knocked out on the canvas, and he's counting, and he turns and starts yelling at Andrade to get back, and he was already back in the corner, and then turns back around and starts to count right where he left off, as if he didn't turn around for 3 or 4 seconds talking to the other fighter. Wow. It's just like, what the fuck? I mean, straight up, that's the first. Like I've seen that happen before.
And I want to make it clear to everybody so everybody understands the rules, right? The ringside judge is only there to pick up the count right away, because sometimes when a fighter goes down, there's other shit happening in the ring. The referee can't start the count right away.
Right.
So that's the only reason why. Now, once the referee, let's say the fighter goes down and then he's trying to fucking maneuver fighters around, and then he looks over at the ringside to pick up the count. Once he picks up the count initially, that ringside judge is irrelevant. Now the counting is purely on the referee in the ring. Does that make sense?
Right.
So just because the ringside judge is still counting, it doesn't fucking matter. It's only the initial pickup count. Because sometimes fighters go down, the referee has his back turned, he's trying to move a fighter to a neutral corner, whatever the fuck it is. The ringside judge is the one that has picked up the count, started the count. The referee looks and picks up wherever it is. Now, if something else happens after that, the referee can start the fucking count wherever he or she left off.
Right.
That's an issue in boxing. That's an issue in boxing. Now, as a fighter, if I knock a guy down, this is why you see fighters, especially in professional ranks, when they knock down a dude, they fucking run to the neutral corner because they don't want any disruptions.
Right.
That's why you see fighters get the fuck out of the way quickly. Because if you hang around, you're giving the referee an excuse to stop the count, basically, which then gives your opponent more time. Right? And it's not that Wilder did that. Wilder did what he... That's the thing when I tell people, when people say, well, Wilder, he didn't move fast enough. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Wilder's been knocking dudes out his whole career. He knows where the fuck he needs to go.
He know that neutral corner by heart.
Right? So it's like, that's not the thing about it is Mora is on that bullshit. Period. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
Yeah, he was.
He was on that bullshit. He trying to like. It doesn't really matter. What I mean, in my opinion, as long as that fighter's out of the fucking way, it doesn't fucking matter what corner they're in.
Right.
You just don't want them in the vicinity to disrupt whatever. You need space. That's why they say go to a corner so we can get this count started. And I know where you're at. You need to have a mental note on where you're at, because people do dumb shit in boxing. Like the guy gets up and the motherfucker's jumping on him already. You got to wait for that count. Right? So it was 1,000% on Mora. And I told people this prior to the fight when they made that last second switch. And I came on here and I said, yo, this is the motherfucker who allowed another fighter to punch another fighter in the balls a total of 15 times.
Yep.
And never took a point.
Never took a fucking point.
He's the Ibeco ref? Fuck. I know that fight.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah. So it's like I told, and people were like, oh man, Divine. And it's like, you know, I get sick of you motherfuckers so much. And that's their line. Come on, Divine. No, motherfucker, you come on. It's like everybody knew. I don't even care how much you love Fury and how much you hate Wilder. You fucking knew that all it takes is one punch.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all's heart stopped when his ass got dropped in that third fight. And Mora saved you. Mora fucking saved you. And that's just the way that I believe it, man. And sometimes in boxing, this shit happens. It's not the first time, by the way.
And they gonna be either.
And there's gonna be more. Exactly. It's not the first time where a fighter got more time to get up, or a referee on that fucking bullshit. Even the Mayweather Ortiz fight, that should have never happened. But Joel Cortez, old ass, wasn't fucking paying attention. You can't blame Floyd, right? Floyd just got headbutted. So fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna still off on you. Yeah.
Right. Joe was way too old. He'd been too old for like 10 fucking years. And that's another thing. That's a whole nother topic. We need to get these old ass referees out of here, man.
Yeah.
Go referee some amateur or some kids or some fucking low level shit. Your old ass is not capable to referee these prize fights, man. You're fucking 70. What the fuck?
Judges included.
Yeah. It's like you need to be as a referee, you should be athletic and quick and sharp.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make decisions quickly and separate fighters and handle fighters. It's always a pet peeve of mine when you got two big ass heavyweights in there and then you got a fucking 5'5", 70-year-old fucking referee trying to break them up. Like, what the fuck? They don't even feel you touching them.
No, they don't, bro. They focus.
All they can hear is they hear you shouting.
Yeah,
that's all they hear. Right? And that's why they hold so much. That's why heavyweights, they be in the clinch for 10 fucking seconds. Because the referee can't handle them. Like, this shit is not fucking rocket science, man. Like, there's so much shit in boxing that is so fucking lopsided. That's why with the lighter weight classes, you don't see this problem as much. Right? Well, first off, their punch output is obviously way higher.
Way higher.
But they don't get in the clinch very much. And then you got referees that can handle the smaller fighters. But it's just like the idea is you got George Cortez and these guys refereeing these big fights, and even Kenny Bayless is getting to the point now where it's like, all right, bro, I think it's time.
Yeah.
I think it's time, Kenny. Because it's like the idea is, oh, well, they're experienced. We want experienced referees. Like, I get that. But when you get to the point where you can't you can no longer use that as a counterbalance when they don't have sharpness and their ability to react, separate fighters, to make quick decisions, to be able to see shit like a low blow, to be able to see rabbit punches, to be able to fucking be firm. Like when Joe Cortez was younger, he was a decent referee, like in the 80s.
Right.
That's how he established the whole I'm fair but I'm firm Joe Cortez shit.
Right.
But you just got too old, man. So you need referees that, you know, like in their 40s, that still have enough athleticism, have vigor, and have by 40, you should have enough experience. And that shouldn't be an issue. If you're a 40-year-old referee, it shouldn't be an issue. By that time, if you've been refereeing for, 5 to 10 years at the amateur level, coming up in the pro ranks, 5 or 10 years is enough fucking experience to handle it. And that's just my opinion, man. And I mean, sometimes these referees, they make me fucking cringe, bro.
Hey, you make a good point, man. Imagine if NBA refs were like that. Like, if you're a ref in like any of these major sports, you got to be able to run with the players. You got to keep up.
Facts.
You got to be in shape. I mean, boxing, you don't have to do all that. But like I said, like between them being short, out of shape, it's like, dude, come on, man. I know there's a couple dudes that wanted to be boxers, and you can find them, make them ref, and let them, like you said, develop in the amateurs and come up. And as
1,000%.
Yeah, like, so why are we not using those, like the resources like that? But no, we keep bringing out these dudes who one ain't never laced up no gloves. All the fighting they did is from watching it. And like I said, it's even like I said with the judges, man. Look, hey, if I see your ass down there and your ass got some fucking thick ass glasses on and shit, nah, you shouldn't be. Get out of here. You should not be watching these fights. You missing half the shit going on.
I need 20/20 in this bitch. That's what I need. If you're a fucking pilot, you gotta have 20/20. I don't give a fuck what you looking like. You gotta have vision. You gotta have vision, and these motherfuckers should be wearing sound canceling headphones too.
I agree 100% with that too, man.
So they don't get persuaded by the crowd.
Yep.
Hey, no, I got one idea about that, about the refs. Keep the 3 in the crowd or whatever, but add you 1 or 2 others, and they're just in a booth watching the shit on the televised. To be honest, I've been to fights. If you're not in a proper position, you miss a lot of shit.
You miss a
whole television. You see a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Give them like 2 or 3 different angles and let them just sit there and just. I mean, even if it's just a phantom judge, just to maybe watch behind it or something, just to see if there's a comparison. But yeah, just have a dude in a room somewhere watching that fight on fucking closed caption television somewhere. You feel me?
Right.
But by having just high quality referees within itself changes the landscape massively on how fights go, man. Like you got to change that first. I mean, yeah, you can try to figure out ways of judging and with technology, and you can I think eventually boxing will figure out a way. I mean, the World Cup is coming up here in a few months, and they're already putting fucking cameras inside the goddamn soccer ball. So they can be able to track like offsides and different fouls in the game. So eventually in boxing, it's going to come to that, right? But that don't change shit until you have a quality referee in these rings, man.
Hey, where's that ref that called Fury cheating at one time, man? Where's that dude at?
He died.
You know what I'm saying? What?
Yeah, he had passed away.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he said
who's that?
He was the worst He was the worst fighter he had ever had to referee. That was against Christian Hammer, I believe. That fight.
Yeah, Christian Hammer. Yeah.
Yeah.
All them gloves.
Yeah, he said Fury was the dirtiest fucking fighter he ever had to referee.
I think that
he had passed away.
There should be a basic test, like a basic qualification rather, on how you can become a professional referee.
A physical.
I think that yeah, like you have to fucking pass a physical. You have to have, you have to show your ability to be able to move around inside of a square circle. Like, yeah, bitch, get up in there. Let me see how you move around in there. side step, move, step forward, step backwards. Let me see your ability to move, right? You got to show some athleticism.
Right.
Then, and then I think that there should be a little stand. I can't say that, oh, you got to have like a professional record or some shit, but there should be a background in boxing, either as a coach, as a fighter. Like, I don't give a fuck if you are you from the Bronx and you used to like go to the boxing gym. Like, you got to have some type of fucking background. You know what I mean? Like, an understanding on how it is to get punched in the face. How the fuck are you gonna know what fighters go through if you've never been punched in the face before? And we ain't talking about some backyard like you fighting your little brother. I'm talking about like in a ring getting punched in the face, like someone's trying to kill you. Like, you gotta have, I think you gotta have that standard. And if you have that standard, you're gonna have more of an understanding on when a fighter is truly hurt or not hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like sometimes referees call it too early and sometimes they call it too late. But unless you have that experience personally, you're never going to make that call correctly. You're going to be able to look at a fighter in their face or their demeanor or their body language and be like, this fight's over. Like, this fighter's done.
Right.
Or he's got a little bit more left. You know, whatever the case is. But I think that should be a standard test. Now, at the amateur level, you know, you can allow dudes that perhaps maybe don't have any boxing experience, but they want to, they like the sport and they want to be a referee. That's in the amateur level. I hate to say it, but if you're going to make mistakes, that's where you make it as a referee.
I agree.
And I know parents, when they got kids in amateur, they fucking hate me saying that. But the whole point of being an amateur is it's a learning process. Unless your kid's good enough to fight for the Golden Gloves or fight in the Olympics, that's all amateur is. It's a learning curve. You're wearing headgear. You know, everybody's making mistakes. Coaches are making mistakes. Fighters are making mistakes. Referees making mistakes. Right? It is what it is, right? But you got to have some type of filter, some type of process to where referees can gain experience and then move on into the professional ranks, which they have that now. But if you're a young dude that wants to be a referee and you start refereeing amateur, let's say like 25, 26, you got time in that time span to then go and start doing a little bit of boxing yourself, you know, and gain a little bit of experience in your late 20s, early 30s, know how it is to be, you know, in the ring, and then you qualify to go referee professionally. That's my opinion.
And categorize the referees, man. Like, if you like have a rule, like if you gonna fucking referee heavyweights, you gotta be at least 6 feet 180, bro. Like, you gotta be able to get in there and pull these dudes apart, and so they can get it mixed up. You gotta be you gotta be not imposing, but you gotta have a presence where they're like, oh, okay, you know, ref's right there, and that just look like some little dude in the background.
That's it. I mean, it's not hard, man. It's not hard. Fuck all this. Oh, well, we're bringing him in because he's been in X amount of championship bouts before. Man, fuck all that. I don't care about all that. I want somebody that I know that I feel confident is going to come in here, be unbiased, and come in here and do a fucking job and be able to handle that job both mentally and physically. You know what I mean? Like, when I was a kid growing up playing sports, you get used to the community, right? There's usually a community of referees, right? Whether you play football, basketball, whatever the fuck it is. As you grow up, referees, that's what they do. A lot of them do it as a part-time job or whatever it is, right? But you become familiar with these referees as you grow up. And I can tell you from experience that when we know there's a certain referee on the field, it's like, we're like, yeah, like that's a good referee. And other times you're like, man, that referee's fucking shit. Like, God damn it, we got this motherfucker again. Right? It's widespread, no matter what sport you're in. And so you don't really care. You don't think, oh, how many years has he been a referee? Like, you don't give a fuck about that. You want to know, is he a good referee or not? Simple as that. Does he know how to do his job or not? Simple as that. But that's my opinion. All right, Mike, bro. Thanks for dropping on, man. Yeah, man. I'm probably gonna get up out of here myself. We kind of went a little bit sideways, chopping it up about boxing in general here, the latter part of the live stream. But the beginning, probably first 45 to an hour of this live stream, I said what I needed to say about Mayweather as a promoter, what he was as a fighter, and just gave my thoughts about that. And of course, with Tank Davis being in the scene, I've already said what I needed to say. I think, like I said, right now as a promoter, I give Mayweather like a C-, a D as a promoter.
I guess it just depends on what you consider a promoter supposed to do. I mean, I can
tell you what
give me your
what it should be.
criteria real quick.
You got to build up your fighter. You got to promote your fighter. Let the boxing public know why your fighter is good, why they're talented, what you think their upside is, what their abilities are, et cetera, right? That's pretty basic. The second thing you got to do is create an avenue for success in creating a legacy. Because through your fighter's legacy creates your own legacy as a promoter naturally. Money don't mean shit in regards to legacy. It's two different things. So if you're about making that bag, well, yeah, like Floyd's doing that. Tank is doing that as well, which is why I believe he's comfortable, because he has been making money, even though he's not getting the big fights. Because Floyd has whispered that narrative in his ear that let's make all this money real quick, and then when you get a little bit older with another 10 fights under your belt, then we'll see where Devin Haney's at. And right now, Tank's like, okay, yeah, well, whatever. I'm making this money, so it don't matter, right? But that's not the job of a promoter. Is going to make money regardless. Rather, I think my point is this. Mayweather has been able to manipulate the situation. Most promotional companies are not going to be able to get away with what Floyd has been able to get away with Tank. Because Floyd Mayweather's name is attached to Tank, he can literally sell any fight that he wants, and people are going to fucking buy it because it's Floyd Mayweather. Right? People have already bought into the idea that this is the path that has been created for Tank, which is the right path because Floyd made a successful path for himself. Right? But other promotional companies can't get away with that as much because people just simply won't fucking buy it. So Mayweather has been able to manipulate the situation and be able to continue to make money. Yes, promotional companies, they're in the business to make money. But if you have a championship caliber fighter like a Tank Davis, you're going to fucking make money regardless if you get him the big fights. Now, Mayweather's been able to make money without putting him in the big fights. So he has manipulated and taken advantage of that, and Tank has allowed that. So my criteria is, in my opinion, build up your fighter, pave an avenue for legacy fights, because through their success, you have success. If they become champions and win belts and win titles, automatically you're involved in that success because you're their promoter. You have helped build them and set them on this path of glory. Money will come regardless. Mayweather, in my opinion, is skipping that part because he's already went from point A to point Z in regards to making money. So he doesn't feel like he needs to fulfill that glory aspect of it. And that's my opinion.
Hey, real quick, when you give him that grade, is that strictly related to Tank or is that his whole stable?
I would say as a promoter in general, because who else does he have outside of Tank? I mean, Badu Jack. Badu Jack's a C+ fighter, in my opinion. So who does he have in his stable right now that he has promoted well, that has already started to set up big fights, big championship fights? Nobody. Now, I don't know his young prospects that he might have that are just coming up that only have 4 or 5 professional fights. I'm sure he has them. right? But that is still yet to be proven. Now, you can improve that D to a C or to a B or whatever it is, depending on how you promote these young prospects. But as of right now, I think that he's done a poor job with Tank. When you see the landscape of 130, 135, and all that talent there, and somehow Tank has avoided all of that. And that's because of Mayweather Promotions, period. Mayweather can get any fucking fight that he wants. Mayweather can call Devin Haney right now and be like, yo, you fighting George in the rematch or not? All right, yes, no, it doesn't fucking matter. Rather win, lose, or draw, you're going to be fighting Tank next. We're going to make that shit happen. How much money you want? What do we got to do? Floyd can make that call right now. He can do the same thing for Shakur. He can do the same thing for Teofimo Lopez. He can do the same thing for Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is a bitch. He probably ain't going to fight no way. But he can put pressure on Ryan. And he can make it clear to the public that I offered Ryan this, and Ryan bitched out like the bitch that he is. None of this is happening right now. None of it. The narrative right now is simply Tank's good. Tank's not taking any damage in the sport like I did. He's made a lot of money, and we chilling right now. We're going to see how it all unfolds. So the only thing that I can say is, if you were to ask me to grade it right now, my grade is a D. But maybe the long-term strategy will be that he's going to wait for the Devin Haneys and all these guys to fight, and then he'll fight the best out of whatever that mix is. And then he'll prove to me that he knew more about promoting than I thought he did, and I'll upgrade his fucking grade. Right? But right now, and July 13th of 2022, it's a D, in my opinion.
My thing is, the failure that I could give him is that he's shit at recruiting fighters because he doesn't have anybody in the stable. Only blue chip fighter he has is Gervonta. But he has taken some fighters that should have, like, we never should probably even heard of them. And Ishai Smith, somehow he got him a championship belt. I remember Ishai Smith from the Contender Series. And then he got Mickey Bay, but Mickey Bay got knocked out in a fight he should have won. And then you got Javion Love, who another dude, but to be honest, we probably should have never heard of him. He got him lots of work. So I think with mediocre talent, he's gotten them more than they would ever did, but he's just no good at getting blue chipper. And I think that's just based on jealousy. He don't want, like, if he could recruit an Earl Spence, he wouldn't want that dude in his gym. He would not want somebody that could outshine him or even whoop his ass. So that's his main issue, his own ego, and he feeling threatened by his legacy. He's starting to get that old man disease. The older he gets, he keeps wanting to try to prove he still gas it, like you were saying earlier. He's still trying to squab at the barbecue. It's like, if you don't sit your old ass down, you know what I mean? So it's just like, right. That's the thing. That's the knock I'll have on him. So I would give him a heavy C, because, like I said, he has turned Tank into, an attraction. But like I said, as far as capitalizing on fights, but I put a significant amount of that on Tank, because when he threatened him with Lomachenko, he should have came out immediately. He's like, well, set the fight up. But Tank says he ain't asked for none of them fights. So I don't know.
Yeah, Floyd has definitely ran into some bad luck, as far as like you mentioned, Jalen Love and Badu Jack. Like, you can't blame that on Floyd that they couldn't succeed, I guess, at the highest level. But like you said, it's mediocre fighters, though. So you're not bringing in elite fighters. You're bringing in fighters that are like kind of good. You know what I mean? And then you get thrown into a championship bout and they come up short. Every promotional company goes through that. Every promotional. You have a, there's levels, right? You can have a guy who's a Texas state champion, fucking Golden Gloves winner, and then they step out of that realm and they go into the professional ranks and they get knocked the fuck out. Right? So it's no different than any other sport. You get a basketball star, best basketball player in the state of New York, get a full ride scholarship to whatever school. They get into the NBA and they ain't shit. Right? It happens all the fucking time. And sometimes it's just luck. Sometimes you just you weed through a pool of in this instance fighters, and you get a diamond in the rough. But that's the thing, though. It's Floyd does have a diamond in the rough, and that's Tank Davis, and he's promoting him poorly. Now, he's done an okay job. If I were to grade, if it was a separate grade for building up Tank, he's done an okay. I'll give him like a C+ for building up Tank. Like, he's built him up all right. But as far as getting the fights that not only does Tank deserve, but also needs, that's the key word. He needs it now at this point. Devin Haney right now is the undisputed fucking champion, bro. He's undisputed. And a lot of that, Devin and his dad and his team, they did that shit on their own. They went to a different fucking country to get that shit. Now, don't get me wrong. Kambosos is, I mean, if they were to fight 100 times, Devin Haney would win at least 99. Some people will say 100. But I always say there's always one. There's always one. Kambosos get a lucky punch or some shit. But 99 out of 100 times, Devin Haney wins that fight. But that's not the point, though. The point is that he's fucking undisputed, and Tank Davis is not. And he's been in the limelight and made more money than Devin Haney has. 1,000%. I'm pretty sure if you were to compare their earnings, Tank Davis has made more money than Devin Haney. He's been on pay-per-view probably more than Devin Haney. More people know Tank Davis than Devin Haney. And if they were to fight, Tank Davis will probably be the A side, even though Devin Haney is undisputed. I don't know about that, but if you were to compare it numbers-wise, I know Floyd for sure will try to push Tank to be A side. That negotiation process will be pretty fucking tough now that I think about it. But like I said, man, it's the promotional side of things. It's Floyd at this point. He's too goddamn arrogant to do what he needs to do. He thinks he's a straight up like egotistical maniac, bro. Basically, my way or the highway. My way is the only fucking right way. This is the way we're gonna do it. Hard-headed, stubborn motherfucker. And that's it. There's nothing that anybody can tell him except for Tank. Tank's the only person that can go to Floyd and say, Floyd, bro, I got these names right here that I need to fucking fight. If you can't get them to me by the middle of next year, then I got to roll out, bro. I can't be sitting around fighting these fucking C+ fighters, these Rolly Romero motherfuckers. I don't want to be fighting these dudes anymore, man. I want to make legacy. I want to win these belts. I want to prove I'm the best. Life is short. He's the only one that can put pressure on Floyd. And the ironic thing is Floyd is so goddamn egotistical, he might be like, all right, bro, fucking walk then. If you want to go, go. And we're going to see if Tank really got the ball. He got balls in the ring. Tank got balls in the ring, but does he have balls to actually walk away? Like straight up walk away from Floyd, walk away from all that money and go off somewhere else to build himself. But he doesn't need really, I mean, he's already built. Tank needs to understand his worth. He's already plug and play. Doesn't matter if he goes to PBC, the Zone, Top Rank, it don't fucking matter where he goes. He's plug and play. Wherever he goes, it's like, oh, Tank's with us now. Boom, big fight. Done. Done. He needs to understand his worth. I don't know if he truly does. You know what I mean? But that's the only pressure that Floyd will concede to is Tank himself saying, yo, I can't do this anymore, man. I need a guarantee from you, a 3-fight deal up until whatever, May of 2000 or we'll say December of 2023. I need 3 fights in the next year and a half. And I want nothing but big names. I want nothing but title fights. And if you can't give that to me, I'm going to go somewhere where I can find it. And Floyd will be like, all right, bro, let's make it happen. Or he'll be like, well, fuck you. You don't want to listen to my plan. You don't respect my plan. Then fuck you. If you want to go, you can go. And we'll see if Tank got the balls to go then. That's the way I see it, man, at this point. And, you know, Floyd as a fighter, one of the greatest to ever do it. Floyd as a promoter, not feeling it. Just not feeling it. I was optimistic in the very beginning when he first started, and you know, he was promoting the idea of like, you know, I was a fighter, I know what it takes, I'm here to help these fighters, and I want to make sure they make money, I want to make sure that they get the big fights and all that shit. I was like, all right, that's what a promoter's supposed to say and do, especially coming out the gate as a fresh new promotional company, essentially. I mean, even though he's been around promoting himself, but more or less now that he's no longer a fighter, he's new to the game in comparison to like Top Rank and some of these old dogs out here who've been in the game for a long time. Which reminds me, is Don King still around?
I believe he has a few fighters here and there. I think I saw him promoting somebody recently.
I haven't seen Don King Promotions in a fucking minute. It just popped in my head right now talking about the old promotional companies. But, you know, Bob Arum's never going to die.
Yeah, the last time he had the last time I could think of it, they had a blue chip fighter that was going to might bend up was like Amir Khan, and he got beat. And then he had what's his name that Wilder fought, Stavern. You know, he was in that promotion, but I could have swore I had seen him. I want to say he was. I don't know. I have to look, but I could have swore I seen him in something, but maybe a couple years ago.
I'll never forget when Mike Tyson was interviewed in his documentary, and they asked him about Don King, and he's like, "That's the lowest, grimiest reptilian motherfucker." I said, "This guy just straight up called him a reptile." I was like, "Damn, that's the lowest of the low. That's some cold-blooded shit, literally and figuratively." He just straight up called him a cold-blooded reptilian. I was like, "Damn." But that shit will stick with me forever. But yeah, I just thought about Don King now, where it's like I haven't seen him around, man, because I'm so used to that imagery of Don King, you know, like in the 90s and early 2000s, holding all the fucking country flags and shit with the big ass afro.
He actually had a card in Ohio back in like January this year. It was headlined by Makabu or something like that. Yeah, that was actually his card. So yeah, he's still active in the game. I mean, you know,
L Dub just letting us know now. He said he just promoted Trevor Bryan and Daniel Dubois for the WBA.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds a bit familiar. Yeah, I guess that was Don. So I guess he's still here and there a little bit, doing his thing a little bit, but obviously he doesn't have the same reach or power that he once had. Just
man, if he still had the same reach and power, all these fantasy fights we've been talking about have been happening. That Spence Crawford fight would have been signed 3 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it real.
You could be right. You could be right. As crazy as it sounds with Don King and how many fighters have complained about him over the years, about taking money, and I mean, obviously Mike Tyson's the most notable name, but when you look back at the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, Don King was a part of some of the biggest fights we've ever seen. That's some crazy shit. Didn't he help promote he used to be Trinidad's promoter, wasn't he?
Yep.
Felix Trinidad?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of big names attached to his name when it's all said and done. But yeah, man, I've said what I need to see. If you guys are just popping in, peeking through the blinds to see what we're chopping it up, we're just pretty much chopping it up for the most part. But for the first 45 to an hour of the live, we talked nothing but Floyd and, you know, him being a promoter, Tank Davis and things like that. So you guys can go back, rewind the tape, and listen to that first hour or so. Otherwise, it's just been me, King of Kings. Big Dog jumped in here. We had Mike in here. We were just chopping up, talking about boxing, man, just kicking it. But nonetheless, Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. And like I said, rewind the tape if you want to hear what I have to say about this Mayweather shit. And then I'll be back. In the meantime, I'm probably gonna get something going this weekend for a Firestorm panel. Maybe bring on Stormy B, man. I might try to get Drew on here if he's free and available. And we're gonna chop it up about some of these big fights coming up, man. One of them being obviously the AJ and Usyk fight. That rematch is gonna be a big one. What is it? Ryan Garcia and Fondura is gonna fight. There's a couple other ones, man, and we're just gonna chop it up, talk boxing, give our opinions, give our predictions, and do what we do on the Firestorm panel. That's what it's all about. So y'all stay tuned. If you guys are not following me on the gram, make sure you do that, man, because I always give you guys a heads up, maybe about 30 minutes, an hour to 30 minutes prior to going live, so you guys can make sure that you guys can tune in, because YouTube doesn't always notify you guys. But everybody that was a part of it, man, I appreciate you. It's not a hot button topic, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out about it, man. King of Kings, it's always a pleasure, bro. Thanks for dropping by. Not sure if you hear me, man.
Oh,
but
thanks,
anyway,
bro, man. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
All right, brother. All right, bro. Y'all stay up, man. Be safe out there. Stay strong. Stay positive. It's your boy Divine. I'll be back with another one. Peace.